So hello everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Walter of Lit One, also as the Money Talks. And I'm also sitting here, as y'all can see, Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq. He is going to be joining us on this very fine Wednesday, Wealth Wednesday. Of course, y'all see the topic. We're going to be talking about Ciara's Oscar event dress that caused a lot of controversy, in addition to the SVB fail, if you will. And Walter wants to talk about how to close the wealth gap. So we got an action-packed show, and I got a surprise for y'all. I'm not going to Pilates today. Yay! Aren't y'all happy? Probably not. Y'all don't care. But anyway, so yeah, those are the things we're going to be talking about. Walter, what say you before we get started?
Well, I'm definitely well versed in the banking issue. I can talk about all that. And I've been with a couple freaks or two, so I can address the Ciara issue too.
Donovan?
Hey, I am just happy to be here. I know how Russell Wilson feels because I saw my girl in a very revealing outfit themselves, and I just have to sit here and take it like the simp that I am.
Oh, please. So anyway, let's see, who do we have on here? Capricorn Black. You say, hey, Demetra, in my opinion, a man should be supportive of his wife in all things, but not condone her wearing an overly revealing outfit such as this. She can be sexy and classy at the same time. Brother Reggie, what's going on with you? You say she can wear that dress at home with me. The kids are gone. You say, let's go. Thank y'all so much. Hit the like button. Thank you so much, Reggie, for that reminder. Yes, no Pilates today. Hello, only Pamela's way. How are you doing? Yes, this is live. Jamarcus, what's going on with you? Maxwell, how are you? Thank you so much for liking. All right, so let me go ahead and get started. We're gonna start off with the Ciara controversy. I know some of y'all like, but it's trending, right? It's trending, and there's so much conversation going on around this dress. And some of you guys who may live under a rock and do not know what I'm talking about, I'll show you guys the dress. That she has pasties on, by the way, so those aren't her bare breasts. I just want to make that clear. That is the dress that she wore to a Vanity Fair party. Vanity Fair usually has a party after the Oscars, and so it was its 29th time having the party where everybody and anybody in the Hollywood industry, I guess, goes to that party. And that particular night's theme was old Hollywood with a twist. Some people are saying it was also called Barely There. I haven't seen the Barely There moniker, if you will, but I did see the old Hollywood with a modern day twist. So I guess that was her adaptation. As you all can see, it said see-through. I don't even know if it's sheer at this point. It's like, I don't know what happened to Walter, but I'm sure he'll be back. You can see through it. Very risque, if you will. Now, there are other people on the red carpet as well. So let me go through my slides. All right. So you can see some of these other people. I have no idea who they are. I know
Who's that on the right?
Hold your horses, homie.
That's a trans.
No. I'm not saying I'm attracted to it. I'm just saying, like, what the hell is that?
Right. All right. So let me tell y'all. The first one, I think she's a Victoria's Secret model. I don't know who the middle one is, but I learned that the one with the white Band-Aid across her breast is a trans woman. Used to be a biological man, if that makes any sense. Okay.
Hell to the no.
So she almost got me. Y'all what other people were wearing, right? I wanted to show y'all what other people were wearing. Okay, moving right along. Okay, so there were some other looks that kind of, I was like, all right, some of the dresses missing. I do know this lady in the white dress is Olivia Wilde. And there's this lady right here in the middle. I don't know who she is, but you can see her dress is pretty see-through. And of course, we know the beautiful Halle Berry. She also had a see-through dress. A little bit more going on than Ciara did. And then moving right along, as you can see, there were some other looks. And my first opinion when I saw Cardi B, I was like, wow, how did Ciara let Cardi B have more clothes on than her? But she has more clothes on nevertheless. And then Yara Shahidi, I think her name is. I probably jacked her name up in the middle. She's a young woman. And of course, we know a beautiful Angela Bassett. She was also at this party, and they all had on clothes, right? All right, so here is Ciara and Russell Wilson. You guys know Russell Wilson. He is a NFL player, I believe, for the Broncos. Don't get me the line. Also, a very devout Christian man. If you guys know a little bit about their situation, he when they got together, he was like, "We are not having any relations until we get married." I guess he wanted to, adhere to Christian values as of not, going into the bed until they were married. We've seen copious amount of pictures of them praying. Sounds like they also go minister in penitentiaries and things like that. Ciara also talked about her having a specific prayer that netted her that of Russell Wilson. Of course, you guys know she was with Future. He is a rapper before she got with Russell, and they have a child together. Russell he hasn't adopted the child he wanted to, but he considers the child with Future that she has as his own son, right? But of course, we saw a lot of chatter on the internet and still going on to this moment about the appropriateness or the lack thereof of Ciara's dress. With all I just said, her being a Christian woman, in addition to her being on the the blue carpet, I guess it is, at this Vanity Fair event with her husband. And of course, she turns around, which I did not know. Thank God I did not include that photo, but it's a G-string. Like, you can see her butt, right, with the little string going up there. So a lot of people are taking her to task, and they're taking him to task. Of course, he's been called a plethora of names, and a simp is one of them. I've also heard him being likened to Ahab. Ahab in the Bible, her being a Jezebel. A lot of times people think a Jezebel is a loose woman, for lack of better words, but a Jezebel is a usurping woman who cannot take direction from a man. In the Bible, she was partly responsible for the dilapidation of Ahab's kingdom because he did not listen to other wisdom. He listened to her and giving him bad advice type of thing. So he's been labeled Ahab, a simp, a beta male, and everything else y'all can think of. Now, people also brought attention to the look on Russell's face, stating that he does not look happy. Now, people have also posted other pictures that I do not have of them together, and she's got on way more clothes with the children, and he's smiling and all those things. But here, certain people have said he does not look happy. He looks a little dejected, if you will. Some have speculated that while he is there with her, he is not there mentally and maybe emotionally because he does not like what she has on. I'm just telling you the things that I've read. I'm not saying that's what I believe or even that's true, because I don't even think that Russell has spoken about this at all, or Ciara. I do know that she, a day or so later, went on her Instagram and posted another photo of her in something just a sheer, or, you can see kind of underneath it. So she kind of doubled down on that. But anyway, all I just said, let me get to you guys' comments really quick. And now I'm going to bring in Walter and Donovan's opinion, because I know they got one. So let's see who came on here. Jean Michael, what's going on with you? You said, I hate to be the one. Is she pregnant or just the styling of the outfit? You know what? You tripping. Jamarcus says, most of Hollywood is freaky anyway. Donovan says, Hallie looks okay, but Hallie is almost sick. Huh?
It looked like she's going to jump over the bridge.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Donovan's pointed out that Hallie is almost 60. Yes, so she looks good. Anita, what's going on with you? And Stacy, how you doing? Let's see who else. Freddie B, what's up? Amanda, how you doing? All the way from Dubai. I hope all is well with you.
I hope you got my watch.
All right, let's see here. Who else has something to say? Arneba says, I wouldn't have a woman that goes out like that. Ken, what's going on with you? He says, not classy to me. And L Boogie, what's going on? You say, wow. And Pisces, God, how are you doing? Arneba says, a Muslim woman wouldn't go out like that. Yeah, you are not lying about that. And OG, how are you doing? It says, if he doesn't mind, why should we care? Good point. And Donovan says, anyone remember Megan Good and her husband? Sounds like they are on this pathway. Oh, wow. And James, how are you? He says, was Ciara married to Future? I don't think they were married. Don't quote me, though. I don't know too much about that.
No. Future? No, they were not married. Come on now.
And let's see. Brother Terry, how you doing? And Thunder, how are you? Let's see. Donovan says, decency laws. If a man dressed like this, he could go to jail. Yeah, that's true. And Stacy says, I'm doing good, and I'm glad to hear that. And Marshawn, Disney Diva, what's going on? Long time no see, Internet. How are you doing? So, Walter, what is your opinion of everything that I just said?
Oh, shit, that was a lot. I mean, listen, if he likes it, it's truly really between them two. I know not a lot, but I know some guys I know one guy that was married to a stripper. I knew another guy who was cool with people seeing his wife's booty cheek. He was just like, hey, you know what? It's a free country, as long as she goes home with me. So, I mean, there's that point. But I mean, as long as they're not trying to represent like, like be role models, or the race, like, oh, like people don't look at her and say, oh, this is how black women. No. As long as they're not doing that, because we don't judge prostitutes, strippers, you know what I'm saying? They stand in their lane. So as long as he's happy, she could be butt naked, as far as I'm concerned, But like we starting to lose our people. Russell and Ciara are up front, like Gabrielle and Dwayne Wade used to be. So, if you want to take down the black race, it's the fast way to do it. I'm not saying this is what she was doing this day, because women have been doing this shit for years. This is not new. The problem is Russell Wilson's in the picture. If Ciara was on the red carpet with Future, she wouldn't even be news right now, because this is, it's a Future hoe. But it's Russell Wilson. He's a stand-up dude. He's professional. He's a leader. He's a good-looking black man, Christian. People don't expect this from him. So I think that's what the issue is. We could care less. If she was out there with Future, or if she was standing next to some rapper, Lil Wayne, nobody would even care. Matter of fact, they would probably say she had on too much if she was kicking it with Future.
Mr. Sadiq?
Again, everybody's opinion is everybody's opinion, and it's these are public people. So when people say, why does it matter, whatever the deal is, when you put your business out there in the public, it does matter, and it does become our business. I'm looking at this in regards, I can't remember Megan Good's husband. Remember Megan Good? She was married to the pastor, and there was always an issue with him being a Christian pastor. With her, the way she dressed at first, I guess the first couple of years of their marriage, she was always being ostracized for the way she dressed. She didn't dress like a Christian woman, blah, 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 blah. And I know that's very hypocritical for a lot of Christian women to criticize her in that situation. But let's face it, we are who we are. Ciara is who she is. She's for the streets. And that's what he wanted, and he married her, whatever. But I see trails of this happening, because she already put out a song that people criticized her for, this single woman song, because it doesn't make sense. You strive, you got a Ciara's prayer, you strive for God to send you this man, and you're not honoring this man. This man plays a very, very masculine sport. And those of us that have played sports, like especially football, I was a basketball player, but you play a sport like football, okay? Very masculine. I could only imagine what they're saying in that locker room, because the quarterback is usually a leader on the field. Now, if I was on the team, and this is just me, I'm looking at this guy and I'm seeing all of his wife's goodies and everything that I can see. I can't follow this man in combat on the field. I have no respect for this man, because he can't even, he's telling me to block and hold my block, but you can't hold your woman in public like that. And your wife is a representation of you, and you are a representation of your wife. Now, Russell and her, Russell's a wholesome type guy. Do you think Disney wants to be associated in an endorsement deal with Russell Wilson because of the way Ciara is dressing? I don't think so. So again, I mean, I get it. She could do what she wants or whatever, but what you do affects me, and it affects you. And I just think it's not appropriate. It's not appropriate. She wasn't an actor. She wasn't there to be nominated. Do you know what's really sad about this whole thing? 'Cause I've got a whole lot to say about it, but I'm not going to get into it because people don't want to hear it. Do you know what's sad about this whole thing? Here it is in a nutshell. Cardi B was at this party, and so was Megan Thee Stallion, and they had more clothes on than Ciara. And I mean, these are the women that throw out, oh, girl, single, get your money up, all this other stuff, the city girl stuff. They had more clothes on than Megan Thee Stallion and then Ciara. So, I mean, it's a very sad thing. But at the end of the day, I don't know any married man, at least my friends. I don't know any of them that would, even some of my street dudes that have their street chicks, that would let their wife go out into public like that, period.
Ooh, brother, you said a mouthful. How you doing, Frank? And yes, indeed, Marshawn, happy early birthday. That would make you a fellow Aries, wouldn't that? I'm an Aries too. Jamarcus says Russell probably the biggest freak ever. He might be, but how will we know, right? And Nikki September, what's going on with you? Say, damn. And Yanni, how you doing? He says, I agree, Donovan. Maxwell says there's celebrities. This is a part of her work uniform, quote unquote. She's older, trying to stay relevant. And she's 37, by the way. And Pudge, nice, how you doing? He says, it's an agenda. And Capricorn Black, what's going on? He says, it reminds me of that scene in Ali when Will asked Jada, what are you wearing after his fight? And Tracy, how you doing? Says, I get it, Donovan. And Sootie Band, what's going on? He says, I think she is trying to overcompensate with the clothes to get attention for a career that isn't necessarily thriving. All attention ain't good attention. Okay. And Jan Michael said, hey, I mean, and Marshawn says, if they're both know the Lord together, they reap God, not just them. They rep God, not just themselves. Good point. And Jay Joel, what's going on? He says, Cardi and Meg were both strippers, which makes it worse. And Janelle, what's going on? He says, you're talking to Jamarcus, so I don't read the replies. And Thunder, he says, Kevin Simon said the best, a man would have to be damn near Jesus. And even if he was, she'd say she's agnostic or an atheist. Did y'all guys see the other day, too, by the way, they had a birthday celebration for Kevin Samuels. I guess they're going to be producing more content on his page. You guys know, of course, he is no longer here. And Dunamis, what's going on with you? He says that's the for the bedroom, not the street. And Brother Reddy says Sierra's son is 8, will be 9 this year. You know his little friends done seen this picture of his mama. Ain't that crazy? And OG, you says, I got to see this before I go to work. She was looking good. Okay, so yes, and I also should say that Ciara is also the first Black woman to own, have ownership in a Major League Baseball team. Russell also bought her masters back and a whole host of other things that she has. So she's not just a washed up singer, if you will. I don't even know if you call her that at this point. She has a lot going on for her. I have my opinions, but I'm gonna hold on to them. I want to kind of get you guys' opinions. And Freddie says, honestly, I think he thought she would change. Could have. And
you can't make a whole housewife. Ain't no changing nobody. That shit don't ever change. That's suicide. I mean, whew, many have died trying to make a whole housewife. You can't do it. That's just what it is, And he could be a freak. Maybe he like that, but he's just the type of person that keeps his shit at home. But you cannot, man. That's the problem. When you start dating a woman, you get into her, and then she decided, I'm going to do this, and you already connected to her. You mentally attached to her. So you're like, I'm going to let her do this little thing. It's going to work itself out one day. And it's not. So maybe, again, this is what he's cool with. Or maybe he's just like, fuck it, I'll deal with it until I find somebody else. I mean, they don't have kids together, so he's not a hostage. You know what I'm saying? He's not stuck with her. And maybe he's having a good time. Like I dated a girl once. She was a super freak. And I used to send my friends pictures of her, man. Check this chick out. She a freak. I ain't going to be here long. You know what I'm saying? But like, it ain't no fun.
Yeah. She's the mother of 2 kids with Russell Wilson. She has 3 kids in total. So she has 2 kids. And like I said, and that's another issue. You're a mother of 3 children. Come on. I'm not saying you have to Mother Teresa it up. I'm not saying that. But again, you could look, Angela Bassett looked very stunning in what she had. I mean, when do we have shame in the community anymore? When are our older people in our community, men and women, going to be an example for the younger people? How are you, a married woman, still trying to compete with single women? I mean, look at who her friends are. I think it's Carmelo Anthony's wife, Lala, and that one other chick. Why, as a married woman, are you hanging around with single people like that? And eventually that's going to rub, girl, he ain't treating you right. Girl, he ain't doing it. Girl, you need to leave him. Yeah, after he bought your masters and did all this other stuff for you. Now you got the bag, and now you're going to hit the street all of a sudden.
Yeah, he's the businessman. I mean, for him to buy her masters and all, that's a big deal.
Let me read these comments, y'all, and then we can get back to it. Lorraine, how you doing? Says, once again, why do so many people care? First of all, get your facts straight. People, that party was a theme look, I think you meant. And I see there are other women with those kinds of dresses on. Stop picking on Ciara. So yeah, I did show those dresses at the beginning. And I also did mention that it was a Vanity Fair party where the theme was old Hollywood with a modern twist. Some people are saying barely there. I didn't see anything that said barely there, although I've seen people saying it on the internet, but I went on Vanity Fair's website and it was old Hollywood with a modern twist. But you're absolutely right. It wasn't just her. There were other people dressed like that.
There was a bunch of them, but this is where modern women go. This is the modern woman. The freak, you can see her booty, her breasts, you can see it all, because that had nothing to do. I've watched plenty of old Hollywood movies, and you would be hard pressed. Marilyn Monroe was what they would consider on the outer bounds. She was the one pushing it, and she had on clothes. This is old Hollywood with the modern woman, aka the hoe. This is today's version of them. When you say modern woman, it's the independent freak that can do what she feels like doing, look any way she want to look, and not be responsible for her man, her kids, her future. This is the modern woman. This is what they mean. Otherwise, how do you get butt naked from old Hollywood? The two don't go together.
Well,
they're all freaks, not just Ciara. All of them freaks. And the dude that was a woman and the woman that was a dude. This man just blow this planet up and let's start over.
Well, it's just like Demetra always says. At one time in this country, Black women was the gold standard when it came to fashion and how to dress. What happened? Now you look at these pictures. She's basically completely naked, and everybody's fine with that. What if Russell came to this event with a bow tie and an elephant thong on top of his thing? Would that be acceptable? No, everybody would be freaking out saying, oh my gosh, oh, how he's a predator. Oh, he's this, he's that. You know what I mean? It's like
with the elephant trunk junk.
Yeah. She didn't have any, she basically did not have any clothes on. I don't care how you look at it. It goes against the decency laws. Where is the standard here? You know, we always talk about Black girls are this, Black girl magic, black. And I'm going to talk about Black because we were the gold standard when it came to stuff like this. Now we're at the bottom, and we're at the bottom because people are letting this be a normal thing, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah. And that's true. And hello, Buzzer Cam. How are you? He says, old Hollywood, my buddy, look old mixed with the modern mess. I'm going to acknowledge your comments. You say, go to the factory and get the model of a woman you want. America doesn't manufacture anything anymore. Everything is produced overseas. That is not true. There's a whole lot of traditional women still running around this planet or United States. So that is not true. I mean, yeah, you're going to get that overseas, but trust me, y'all being sold nonsense in that there's no more traditional women in America. So, you know, of course, I'm going to open a link in about a couple minutes. I'm going to get these comments down. I'm going to open the link, and I want you guys to click on the link. It's on YouTube, and you can come on briefly to express how you feel, and then we can go from there. Let's see here. Pudge Knight says, God ending it soon. And Corliss, what's going on, girl? It says, say that again, Walter. And let's see. Yep, Corliss, she says, double standard. And Ren's G, I didn't say hello to you, says, ain't no true real man walking out the door with his wife wearing that. But there are some men said they would be all right with it. And El Boogie says, I don't believe Russell Wilson was happy with his wife showing off her goodies. But let me ask y'all can think about this. Do you think if he wasn't, he would say something? And do you think he would have any influence over that? And
no, and I'll tell you why. There are some men that are reserved, and let's face it, I know friends like this where the woman is pretty much the she runs the household, you know, and Ciara seems like she has a very strong personality type and, you know, doing all these other things. It just doesn't make sense that you have this Ciara prayer. And by the way, she's a born again Christian, so she claims. I have never seen a born again Christian dressed like that.
Capricorn Black says, I disagree. I think from a fashion perspective, Black people are still trendsetters. However, a woman should respect her husband and vice versa. And so what Donovan was saying, you know, I remember my father saying years ago, I couldn't have even been no more than 10 years old, a lot younger than that. My dad is very wise and he didn't really like hold any punches when he was educating us. And he said that, and you know, it's true, it's the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, especially in the fall of America. He was saying even back then in the 70s that the Black woman is becoming more and more unclothed, if you will, no shame in, you know, walking outside, showing everything. And of course, now it's even worse. But my father used to always talk about how Black women were the standard. Not saying that Black women, you know, weren't a little freaky or whatever the case is, but you didn't know that because she didn't go outside dressed any and every kind of way. She was looked up to as the gold standard from everybody, right? She was clean. Her hair was combed, you know, clothes, and you know, everything. She was just like, wow, right? Y'all know, even back in the day, even after slavery, white women hired Black women to take care of their children because that's how pristine Black women were. And I'm not saying they're not Black women like that now, but I'm saying it was, I'd imagine it would have been rare back then to see a Black woman. And to Walter's point, in old Hollywood, you know, they would shun people that showed up dressed like that, whether they had scandals or whatever it was. And like you said, Marilyn Monroe was considered, you know, a kind of a loose woman, if you know anything about her, you know, especially the way she would dress and the way she would talk. But she was on the precipice, right? She was acceptable, but then people still had a raised eyebrow. So there were still standards back then, but now it's just kind of like, well, you know, as the messenger said, Babylon, right? Anything goes. And I look at listen, I'm one of those people, and I'm gonna, the link is open now on YouTube if you guys want to click it and come up. I'm one of those people, to each his own, you can do whatever you want, but I'm also one of those people that I'm not going to co-sign nonsense. Now, Ciara's a woman. She can do whatever she wants. Her man don't have a problem with it. Then no one else should have a problem with it. So that's kind of where I'm going with it. But I would use me as an example. If I was on the red carpet with my man, ain't no way in hell I would show up like that. You know why? Because even if he said, honey, I don't care if you wear that dress, please, 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 I'm begging you, I would say, well, I'll wear it for you at the house. However, I know that me showing up on that red carpet is going to bring backlash on you. Because people are going to question why you didn't have more to say about your woman showing up naked, essentially, in front of the world, right? That's just the kind of woman I am. I would never want my man to be under that type of a microscope or being called names and all the things that they are attributing to Russell. See, I think that's where a real woman steps in and say, I can, but should I? And if it was me, and I'm only speaking for me, I would say I should not. Because there's other things that I would rather be talking about than having the world scrutinize me and my man. See, if the scrutiny on me is one thing, but my man who was there is, you know, arm candy, essentially, you know, supporting me, I wouldn't want him to be talked about like that. To me, I think that's kind of selfish, but that's just my opinion. So anyway, you guys want to come on, click the link. It's on YouTube. It's pinned. Y'all want to come on and speak your piece, please do so. Only Pamela's the way he says, I said this earlier the other day, it seems as if boundaries, lines, and morals don't matter to some people. And Ricky Marcus Thompson, how you doing? He says there's no justification for the way she was dressed in public like that. That was distasteful, and for him to allow it doesn't say much about his values. Jamarcus says this is why she dressed like that, to make people talk about her to stay relevant. Yeah, but stay relevant how? Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? And you know, in all fairness, there's people who have mixed opinions about what she did. Let's see, I'm gonna skip down a little bit. And Tatum, how you doing? He says it's hot outside. I'm about to put that outfit outside. Maybe church get more tithes and offerings. Oh Lord, or
yeah, can you invite me to your church when you wear it? I'll be in the front row. Matter of fact, I go to all services.
Wow. El Boogie says a lot of women choose men according to their temperament. Too late for him to put his foot down now. He knew who she was before he married her. Yeah, but then there's other thing. Maybe he's all right with that, you know, because he really hasn't said he wasn't, or, you know, anything, right? Donovan said 37 years old. When does she graduate to being the big sis for these younger women? And Thunder says, oh, I'm traveling to a man he said, I made a lot of stops over the world music. Arneva says she dressed like that because too many of us reject the message of Elijah Muhammad. I totally agree with you. And let's see, let's skip down a little bit. Mike, how you doing? Says, and it looks bad for your kids too. Yeah, like damn the kids, right? I'm out here. We out here. You know, it's like, what about your children that may see that? For me, I got a daughter, I got a lot of nieces and nephews, and I wouldn't want them to see me turn up on the internet like that. You know what I mean? Because as I always ask, where are the big mamas? Where are the role models? Like, I remember I had a big mama, had grandmamas. They were role models. My mama, you know, where are they at now? We talked about this the other day, Donovan and I. Mama D, little Scrappy's mama. She almost 60 years old, and she naked all over the doggone internet. It's like, I know she got grandkids, but it's like, that's more important to you, you know, talking about I still got it, than being a good example for the children. I don't know. It's like bizarro world around here.
Where are the big sis that can tell the girl, oh girl, hey, I did that 10 years ago and that was a mistake for me. You shouldn't do that, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because Ciara ain't that old to be the big mama, but she's old enough to be the big sis. You know, when you're hitting that 40, you should be instructing these 20, 30-year-old girls to not follow in some of the mistakes that you made. I'm not saying don't let them have their freedom, but say, hey girl, I did that for a minute. And it really didn't work out because now it backfired. Now my stripper past has come back and it's eating me up, you know?
Yes. And Tatum, the link is on YouTube. I'm going to put it in the comments section. I don't know if you guys on Facebook will be able to see it. And you know what? Where are my manners? I did not say hello to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You guys are the other side of the conversation. I am so rude. I'm sorry for that. But the link is on YouTube. I'm getting ready to put it in the comment section here. Y'all want to click on it, quickly come in. And tell us how you feel about this. The only thing I ask is before I put you on the big screen, show me your face. And then if you don't want to show your face, you can go ahead and, put your whatever, blank out your face. But I just need to see it to make sure it ain't no mess because those of y'all was here. Y'all seen it. All right, here we go. So let's see here. Thunder, you says, question, where are the new generation of Agnes and Mildred for the next generation of men like myself? Will there be a Mildred from them? Why won't anyone think at those guys? So I guess I know where you're going. You're basically saying, where are the older women with the wisdom? Well, I happen to be one of them. You know, so there's a lot of them out there that just need to make themselves known. And of course, a lot of times now we're getting a lot of information from the internet. So a lot of big mamas probably ain't on the internet, but it sure would be nice to see some of them, pop up, or even maybe somebody post them and, them being matriarchal, I guess you could say. So let's see here. Arneva says, big sis in the church. And Jeanette, what's going on with you? She says, Walter, wake the F up. And Jay Joy says, there are no more big mamas left in large quantities. Grandmas now are in their 40s and busting it open on Instagram. Yikes. And Janelle says, stripper pass. Says, Donovan, how many fellow strippers do you know? That's a loaded question. And only Pamela's way says, sure did see it. You look like you wanted to hide under the chair after that, sis. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I have my opinions. I don't think we should try to govern everybody and what they want to do. However, I do think that we should not be so open to accept everything. You know what I mean? Like, the problem in today's society is we're so afraid to say anything in a loving, correcting manner because it gets mistaken as, well, mind your business. You being nosy. It's not our business. But it's like, I always tell y'all about the story when my mama was a teenager, I think she was, or maybe even younger than that. My mom was born in 1949. So she got smart with a neighbor a couple of blocks away from her house. And she said the neighbor slapped the gum out her mouth. And then she says by the time she got home, her mama heard about her getting smart with the neighbor, and she got towed up by her mama, right? But nowadays, you can't have that conversation with kids because if I'm not saying you should put your hands on people, but back then, they was about that life, right? But nowadays, you try to correct somebody's child or say something in a loving manner to somebody, you might draw back a nub. I'll be holding your eye because they didn't die because you need to mind your business. And unfortunately, with this new generation, is why we can't say nothing to them because everybody's afraid. I don't say nothing to them because if you say something, they're going to get mad. So you tread lightly. And you got a lot of parents who have older children, they won't say nothing. Child, you know, if I say something, they gonna get mad. Let me just mind my business. But then we have a wayward generation out there because we got a generation above them that are punks, for a lack of better words. So anyway, I'm gonna put the link here if you guys want to join. It's also pinned on YouTube. Y'all got, fellas, y'all got something to say while I'm pinning this? I guess they don't. So I'm I'm putting the link up here now so you guys can. Okay, Dr. Tatum. Voila. How are you, beautiful?
What's up, people?
What's up, girls? Finally, nice to meet you.
I am. Nice to meet everyone.
What's on your mind?
Okay, so let me make sure I don't have an echo, guys. Let me just see what I need to turn off.
Walter, oh yeah, if you have something playing in the background, you hear echo, and I'll mute Walter, and then I'll also mute myself. Oh Lord, Black America, I'm gonna mute you.
Okay, so look, I'm hoping you.
Yeah, you kind of froze up, Dr. Tatum.
I've never done YouTube.
But we can hear you.
Okay.
So, Dr. Tatum,
okay, so look.
There you go. We can hear you.
Okay, so I'm coming on here first. I want to see my people. So what's up? I'm gonna play devil's advocate. First of all, I would never wear that because you're exactly right. I would not want my man to be questioned. 2, my cellulite is not gonna fit in even that now.
I think you froze up just a tiny bit. Dr. Tatum, we want and love to hear what you have to say. If you can get a more stable connection, you froze very beautifully, though, I might add.
Yeah, stay right there.
Just get a more stable connection. That way we can hear what you got to say. So I'm going to go ahead and mute your mic. Black America, what say you?
Hold on, let me grab my drink.
Hello. Hey, it ain't gonna be like that now. Come on, brother. How's everybody today?
We're doing well. How about yourself?
I am fine. Are we talking about this see-through dress thing that's going on?
Yes, we are.
Whatever happened to having respect for the person you was with?
I mean, I agree with you. I think that's the second time we've agreed.
You see, look at that. There is a God on high. It moving closer and closer.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. And sometimes you got to say, "It's not. I can wear this dress. I'm looking good and all of that." But if I'm going to be with somebody else, I might want to consider them as well. That's just kind of how I would have looked at it as well.
I think because of us regular guys who've had to build ourselves, we call him a simp. And it's not because he picked up this beautiful lady and married her after she been bust down by a bunch of other people in the music industry and movies and stuff like that. It's because of stuff like this. I mean, I understand you can't go upside a woman's head. That's understandable. But I mean, it's somehow you have to have some kind of control. He has no control over his woman. It is a shame. It's a mess and a shame.
I mean, I also agree with you as well. And so, Maxwell, what's going on with you? What say you? Oh, let me unmute your mic. There you go.
All right. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I'm of the opinion. See, I've been married for 25 plus years. So I'm of the opinion if he likes it, she likes it, I love it. They're celebrities. They do different stuff than we do. They live a different life than we do. So, you know, if he likes it, I love it. That's him and his wife.
I agree with that too. I mean, it's if he doesn't have a problem with it, obviously we have no power, right? I mean, the other thing too is we see people like that all day long, everywhere, whether it's on the internet, whether it's at Walmart.
Right.
I would just say this. For me, being 51 years old, and I have a daughter, she's 30, she doesn't have to listen to nothing I say. But I think we need to get in the habit of being influential even over the life of your older children. Now, if my daughter wanted to go out like that, I would try my best to persuade her not to. And then I would tell her, you know, reasons why, and maybe you should be able to put something else on that is, you know, I guess accentuates your body, but doesn't show your body type of thing. I don't know, but at the end of the day, you're right. It's not our business, but I don't know.
Well, all you got to do, if you say that dress is not acceptable and she still wants to go out like that, you change the locks while she's gone. You see what I'm saying? It's simple as that.
Man, that's slimy. I mean, if it's that deep, just tell her she has to go, but don't change the locks.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. Change the locks. That's what I mean. That's a metaphor for change the locks. She has to go.
Yeah, she has to go. It's that simple. I mean, I'm the type, I make my life simple. I'm almost 53 years old. And I learned from the time I was 30 to make my life simple. The only fight I have is for Black empowerment and reparations. Other than that, everything else, you know what I'm saying? Everything else. My money is right. So my marriage is good. I mean, it's not perfect, but my marriage is good. So there's a lot of things that I see in the media and I'm like, why do people make it so hard? You know? So that's just me though. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, she's a celebrity. He's a celebrity. They're multi-millionaires. Both of them can buy and sell us on so many different levels, you know? So, I mean, they have to do what they have to do. That's how they get their money. Well, at least that's how she gets her money.
So does that make it okay, brother, to if we are supposed to have young people looking up to people like this, does that make it okay for somebody to look up to, like she said, she wouldn't want one of her daughters, and I got 4 girls, okay? I got like 8 or 10, 12, 15 kids, okay? I wouldn't want my daughters would know not to come dressed like that. I mean, it's deplorable because they represent me. And you're saying just because she got the bag and you know he's paid, then hey, you know what? Do whatever you want to do. I don't get down like that. I can't see.
Hold on, brother. That's not what I said. I said they have money and they're in a different situation. Number one, no celebrity should be raising your children, looking up to them as a role model. You and their mother should be their first role models. And you should turn them on to people who are worth looking up to. So number one, that's a parenting thing. You know, number two, I'm not one of those Negroes. We's got to do better because that don't represent me. So I don't care what you do. You don't represent me. If you go outside and kill 15 people, that's not all Black men. That's you. You don't represent me like that. And I refuse to let you. So
okay,
no,
I understand that.
We's got to do better because the white folks ain't gonna let us come to their stuff. That ain't me. That's not me.
I understand that, but have you ever been profiled?
Dude, I'm Black and in America. I told you I'm almost 53 years old. What do you mean? What kind of question?
Okay, so brother, we almost the same age.
Yeah, wait, hold on. And I'm from Compton, California. I've been profiled since I was 13 years old, bro.
I dig it. 35th in Normandy.
All right, so we got some commonality.
West Coast in the house.
West Coast. Right? All right, let me throw Dr. Tatum up in here. Now we can see you and hear you. What's going on with you?
Look, this is one of those topics that it's not in a little box. It's you know, you're on the borderline of Okay, I'm not trying to shame her. I'm not trying to put her down. Every single thing that you guys say, it's hitting what it needs to be. First of all, she wasn't the only person that wore, whoever sold all those people the same outfit. Look, that was some marketing lying right there, because no one's supposed to have the same outfit on at the same time.
Right.
As you guys know, I am a nonprofit with domestic violence and human trafficking. Yes, you are not supposed to look at the victim, but this is a role model, regardless of how you're raising them or not. I can't help that. I got 5 girls, y'all, 5 girls, including myself. And looking at that immediately, my first thing was also, Dad, Russell, you ain't got no nuts. Honestly, you ain't got no nuts that you had to give your woman. Now, look, I know my husband ain't gonna snatch me up, but I still wouldn't want to embarrass him to think that he was gonna get questioned. Now, as a woman, she fine. She got the body, she got everything going on. I wish I could wear that outfit. Now, I might not wear it out to the community, but I wish I could just get one thigh in. Just to, maybe got that outfit on and maybe do some things. So I applaud her. She is a dancer. She's an entertainer. But it's not really her fault. You know whose fault that is? Is all these people that are politicians and all this other stuff. They're the ones that give these people awards. They're the ones that sit there and go, this is how you show up. But as a mom, I'm worried about her. Not just her, my daughter that might walk out the door that thinks that's cute. They have security. They're walking in that venue with security, getting in that van with security, going home to a gated community with security. If my child left the house with that, not going to wish it on anyone, but it's a chance of her being date raped. It's a chance of her not coming home because somebody assumed that she was easy, assumed that it was trying to try her. So that's what I'm worried about as a mom, as a person, not just as a woman, that somebody at home is going to look at this and go, oh my God, let me go get that outfit. I thought that was a nightgown. I thought that was a swimsuit that you put over. Let me now go to the club. Now let me go to school and let me get this call and say, well, Ciara did it. Well, Ciara ain't got this belt at home. I'm going to whoop your ass if you left my house with that outfit. How about that?
Ooh, you trying to get the parties started now.
Walter, jump on in there.
I agree with you. I agree with you, and I'm gonna tread lightly because the world is woke and everybody's so damn sensitive. I don't like, for instance, like Ice Cube said it best. Like, you can't invite ants to a picnic. You know what I'm saying? So if, like, for instance, if I paint myself with honey and I walk past a bee's nest, I'm probably gonna get stung. Now, it ain't cool for the bees to do that, and technically I should be able to walk around with honey all over my body. But I'm still going to get stung. If I hang around Jeffrey Epstein, I'm probably going to have somebody touch my booty. So you have to behave in a certain way. And I think the modern woman has been told it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I go out and I see girl booty cheeks hanging out. And I'm like, you know what? You can't even say anything anymore. I don't mind seeing your booty cheeks, especially if you just one night, which is what you're going to be. But, like, don't turn around and say, I need this and respect and all these other things. That ain't going to happen. And the modern woman is being told this is what you need to do. Like, listen, ladies, if you're 50, ain't nothing wrong with being 50. Get your grandkids, go play at the park. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We need pillars in the community. Everybody can't be a freak.
Not play at the park. I can't. Oh my goodness.
No,
but I do understand what you guys are saying. Like when I'm rescuing women and everything, and a lot of people want to put in the category, you can't blame the victim on this. That's not what we're doing. We're not blaming victims. What I'm saying is self-respect go a long way. When I'm in the boardroom, things like this is what makes it harder for me to go into a boardroom where I'm fully clothed. And an assumption that the person next to me, they can get that contract because they're half naked. it's a competition out here also that is unspoken about. Yeah, you shouldn't look at that, but at the end of the day, I'm coming in with a suit and she's coming in with her tatas out. So it's going to be like, okay, well, she wasn't qualified. You know, right now we struggling right here in Houston right now that TEA is taking over schools. And right now we got to understand programs and everything is being given to people that maybe slept with somebody, maybe came and was a good friend of a politician that got this. That's happening. That's been in the Bible on things happening. And the reason why the modern day woman was being clothed, there is two things with that. There was women that were being beat and not being told that they had their own rights in their own body. But there's also a whole group of people saying, let's use what you got, which is your brain, to get in this door. So clothe up and show them that you have the intelligence, that you're not what you are wearing. So you have two sides of this. I can't speak on Ciara. You know why? Because she is going back to her mansion. She is going back to somewhere that she's not going to be in a situation that another young lady is going to be in that situation. But as a parent, it's my job to go back and go, you see this young lady that you saw on this thing? You love her. I love her music too. But don't you dare put that outfit on and think you're going to walk down the street, because at the end of the day, stuff can happen. So that's my job as a parent. That's my job as a teacher to call me. Because I've had situations, because like I said, 5 girls that she left out of my house fully clothed. But they changed clothes. I know I ain't the only parent that their child changed clothes in the bathroom at school. And I depend on that teacher to go, okay, I'm going to call your mom. You better change. But what we can't accept is all these people thinking it's okay. Go ahead. I yield.
Oh, when y'all see me doing that, I'm just waving to people that's come on that I haven't seen and overflow.
Hey, I'm obedient. So, you know, I'm a comic, I'm everything. But like I said, she wasn't the only one that showed up. We want to also speak about those other women of other races that showed up too. I don't want to just, talk about the Black woman showing up. All of them showed up like it was the MTV Awards and not the Oscars. So to me, it was a totally shock that they showed up at the Oscars. But hey, each is, like you say, each his own. But as an opinion of a woman that have girls, it made me worried. And I can say I immediately got my 15-year-old to go, don't you dare walk up out of here thinking that's okay.
Yeah, and really quick, I want to say, I'm gonna give it to Donovan and then Brother Maxwell and then Black America. So there were other women who did show up like that, but there was a lot of women who didn't. You know what I mean? There's a lot of women who had on clothes, So I don't know, because I keep hearing the theme. It was barely there. I saw Hollywood with a new twist. So I'm kind of confused. But again, there's a lot of other women who had on, decent amount of clothes. So Donovan.
Well, I've been in the comments most of the time. And again, thank you for letting me come on you and Walter's show today, because, I'm very, very, quiet most of the time. But I just noticed in the comments, people are saying, oh, they're getting paid, they're doing this. I want to challenge the people in the comments. If I paid you $5 million to see your wife butt naked in a porno video, would you do it? Just because a person is getting paid in something, is it worth destroying the community or putting a bad connotation for it? I mean, it ain't like they're hurting for money. There is no amount of money, I only speaking for myself, that somebody could pay me to make my wife go out there and be a hoe. There's no amount of money that can happen to that. I already bought her master's. I got a $250 million guaranteed contract with the NFL. What more do we want? Sweetheart, you don't need to be doing this for the money. All this, oh, she's a record artist. She's a this, she's a that. She's also a mother. She's also somebody that a lot of young females look up to. What happened to saying, you know what? It ain't about the money sometimes. All money, and we say this, and I'm not from the hood, but we say this in California and New York and all the places. All money ain't good money. So think about that.
Absolutely. Brother Maxwell.
I just want to ask, number one, I appreciate the doctor. I appreciate you, sister, for the work you do for trafficked women, children, what you do. But I want to ask one serious question. Are all the women who get trafficked dressed provocative? Or is it a sick individual or a person after whatever type of money or power that they get that does that?
To answer your question, no, they do not dress like that. A lot of Black women are taken, and it's being Houston. We're number one in Black women being taken, and there's only one section in Houston, Bissonnette, that the women are walking on. And I say that because a whole lot of women are being taken by churches, by jails, by all kinds of other things that people don't see, pastors of churches that you don't never see them go in. So you talking to a realist that I know for a fact that we're dressed up. We're being taken as even real estate agents that are showing houses that are dressed to the max. A perv is a perv. And to answer the other one is she didn't do it for money. She did it because other reasons. She wanted to show off her body. And that comes back to trauma and wanting to feel that and I guarantee you all those women thought they were the only one that wore that outfit. That person did not say that they sold 20 other outfits to the Oscars, but they wanted to show off their body. And that goes back to why did they want to show off their body? Everybody in this world knows Ciara has a banging body. Everybody in this world knows that she work out. She's a dancer. So she didn't have to show it. We already knew what she had underneath all that. She didn't have to physically show on her body. But at the end of the day, as a person that deals with trauma, I have to ask her, why did she do that? There was something in her past or how she felt about her husband. We don't know about that argument. They might have argued all the way there, but he put a smile on his face. But then he also saying, this is my wife. I know she ain't going nowhere. She might be a trophy at that time to him. So there is a couples and mental illness that comes in effect to this. At the end of the day, we just have to be like this on this platform and go, we in the community cannot allow this. We in the community cannot allow our little girls and us as grown women say this is okay. But as a person that says, Ciara, you can go and do this, but I hope you speak later on saying why you did it. Because there's a reason why she chose that designer, why she chose that outfit, why she chose to go on that red carpet. She chose it for a reason, and it better not be, oh, well, because she wasn't there to get an Oscar. Did I miss a movie she was in? No. Did she sing a movie like Rihanna? Was there something that she was in that I missed?
No,
it was Monsters Ball 2, but she didn't get the invite.
No, she was not. She wasn't. Not that I know of. But I think you raised excellent questions. Like, what was that really about? You know what I mean? And as I always saying, Dr. Tatum, I know you know, just because a lady can don't mean she should. You know.
And the reason why some people should is because we have the activists that want to come behind her go, you shouldn't speak on a woman. Well, here's a woman speaking on a woman with 5 children. Okay. So a woman that is saving other women. I want to make sure that there's people out there today is going to be like, well, she looks nice. Don't speak about her. Don't say nothing. It's shaming women to talk about other women. But damn it, I'm not ashamed to say a sister is a little jealous too, that she fine as I don't know what, has some kids. My ass over here with cellulite. I'm gonna try to take the Ozempic pill, peeing so I can lose about 30 pounds and act like I got some lipo taken out. I don't know what she did, but my ass is a little jealous. I ain't gonna lie. So she went there to say, you know what, she looked good and we all can do it. Hell to the nah, we all can't do it. She might be able to do it, but not me.
Absolutely. BJ, what's going on with you? Unmute your mic. What you got going on?
Oh, nothing much. I'm just extremely disappointed in Ciara. I mean, bottom line, it was uncalled for. There was no reason for her to even dress like that. Because, again, what was the point? But then again, the point is now you're showing other young women that this is cool, this is okay, and we got enough girls running around being exploited and just walking from the store. Now you're saying, oh, it's cool to just dress with nothing on. For what? And then as far as the Oscars is concerned, is anybody talking anything about what movie got nominated? Who won? What best soundtrack? We don't know any of that. All we're talking about is her. Every picture is coming up of her.
Okay.
And everybody is going to be copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste.
You made a good point. See, if I am, and I don't believe there's a white conspiracy to destroy black people. I think that there was. I just think now.
It never stopped. It never stopped.
Well, what I'm saying is I think right now, like if you put together a plan, you don't need, if you put together the plan well enough, you don't need to keep showing up to make sure it's working. You just plant the seeds and it continues working.
Yeah.
You made a good point. Like last year, I'm trying to remember who won Best Actor. I was telling one of my boys, I said, did you know that Will Smith won for King Richard? He was there representing the Williams family.
And he slapped somebody, and that's all we talked about.
You don't hear nothing about this accomplishment of these two sisters. It was, I mean, man, like seriously, like they're the Tiger Woods. Take the Williams and Woods out of sports. And I don't know what we're doing on this planet. So now go forward. The Oscars, the Oscars is the only show that I watch. You know, I stopped watching the Grammys and that hood rat shit. But I watched the Oscars, but this year I didn't watch them for the first time in my life as an adult. And this is all I'm hearing about. I can't even tell you who the best picture was. And it's nowhere in the black community. I think this is a good way to keep the black community on its back. You know, versus saying, hey, what the hell happened with SVC Bank this weekend? You know
right.
What's going on with the
real estate? Now they're talking about the Swiss bank is dealing with the same thing.
Credit Suisse is $2 a share. This is $100 bank. You got First Republic, which was over $100, $200. That's trading at like $15-20. I mean, like, so these are things, in my opinion, if I'm the dude in what was that movie with Tom Cruise and the man? I can't remember the name of that movie. You know, with the Colonel's Fried Chicken, Undercover Brother. If I'm that dude, this is what I'm doing. Right? So I'm going to give black people a reason not to do shit. I'm going to keep diverting them. Like Ciara's not important. I mean, seriously, she had goodies, 1-2 step. Like, what did that do for the black community? We was already stepping to the left and the right, and all women got goodies. You know what I'm saying? If you're a G, you probably got 20 women with goodies. So what is that doing for us? You know what I'm saying?
Keeping us distracted, keeping us running around in circles, fighting over stuff that don't really matter. And where's our businesses? Where's our money? Where's our wealth being funneled to?
Yeah, we have
into other people's pockets.
And that's why what your point is very needs to go into a category, because you're absolutely right. It was a distraction. Here you had Will Smith last year, wasn't coming this year. And like I said, we sometimes get set up to do things that we think is good. And I really believe she got set up, because here you had all these other women going to wear it, but Ciara went ahead and fell for it. So they know that they needed something at the Oscars, because they were already going to give it to Jamie Lee Curtis. And they already knew we were going to be angry that Angela Bassett wasn't going to get this Oscar. So they needed something more controversial to distract us. So you're absolutely right. I believe somebody called Ciara up and said, girl, go ahead, brother. What you about to say, brother?
Let me let Brother Maxwell jump on in here. And in Black America, are you still there, Black America?
Yeah, I'm just soaking it in. It's just it's funny to me how different people view it, as far as we got Brother Maxwell. He's like, well, if her husband like it, I'm cool with it. And then you got other men saying, and the young lady in the green shirt, we saying is disrespectful. And I just, this is where the turmoil in our neighborhoods and our community as Black people is, because we can't get on the same daggone page for shit. It's a
Like
real.
we gotta stop falling for the okie doke and being distracted by stuff that don't freaking matter.
Let me let Brother Maxwell in. He's been waiting to speak. Go ahead, brother.
Number one, first question: why are y'all still watching the Grammys, the Oscars, all that garbage? You know your favorite actors. You know your favorite actor's not going to win if they're Black. So why are y'all watching it? To complain? They ain't gonna let nobody Black win. Come on, man. None of this is really important. None of it is really important. You know what I'm saying? Really, the Grammys, the Oscars, they've been whitewashed our whole entire lives. Miss Demetra, you're 51, I'm 53. It's always been that way. The first Black Oscar given out was for playing a mammy. Okay? A mammy. All right? Denzel won for playing a crooked cop. I mean, when they do give you award, when they give our people awards, it's like a backhanded compliment, because white supremacy love their little jokes.
I mean, they gave Jamie one, but I get your point. But here's the other thing I think we're missing is the Oscars was never a Black affair. It was never for Black people. The Oscars was always old white Hollywood. And so we as Black people start integration and feeling like, oh, we should be equal. Like, I really like us. I mean, I hate the race shit. I think it's all stupid. But if we start something, we could, I mean, there's nothing wrong with us having our own. We need to start asking ourselves, why do we need to keep chasing the Oscars? The Oscars has always been a white affair. Black people have came into it later. So we're going into an event where they're like, hey, this is white Hollywood. This is our stuff.
You're absolutely right. I don't know. I know I didn't sit through it. I'm waiting for the highlights on Facebook or something, because I sure wasn't going to sit there. But at the end of the day, that's what's so disappointing, because she fell for it. She fell for it. She fell for it. Precisely. It is not for us. So why would you put yourself in position, and it wasn't for our entertainment, and you walked in there like the other models and white folks and thought you were going to not be pinpointed? So that's what's so disappointed in this whole situation, that who spoke to her and thought, you know what, I'm going to be different. The rest of the models are wearing it. The rest of the Hollywood is coming this way. We're not accepted there at all. So why would you, what happened behind closed doors that she fell for this?
And I'm not trying to split the races saying it's a white or Black thing. I'm just saying the Oscars has always been that way. We can create our own. And here's the other thing too. You know what? Just to get to spice this up a little bit, Black people, we have created music, this, that, and we've created all of these things, but everyone else is integrated into our stuff. Is there a way we can look at this and say, you know what? It's not a Black or white thing. Ciara showed up butt naked. That's an issue.
Well, but Ciara allowed for people to talk about the Oscars, and that's where my problems with her is that you wore this to bring controversy, to bring people talking about what was going on Sunday. For who? Who benefits from this? Now everybody going to try to figure out what was the pictures, were the movies. They are using whatever they can to keep people engaged, because people are walking away from the Grammys, they're walking away from the Oscars, and they're walking away with their dollars from these movies, from this music, because it's all trash. And they want to use, and then you're going to let them use you to try to pull somebody back into this mess. And that's where I'm like extremely disappointed in her, because again, would you want your daughter to wear the same dress? And if she says yes, then something's really wrong with her.
But you know, that success is a powerful drug. I mean, I'll tell you, when I was working with Kanye West and hanging out with a lot of the hip hop celebrities, I'm telling you, that shit is strong. You know, I was a family dude, wife, kids at home. I got hanging out with Kanye and Mos Def and all. That is, it's unexplainable how that stuff draws you in. So I do understand where she might have come from, and peer pressure is something else. Like, we deal with like right now, we are Monday morning quarterbacks. We're watching the game and then saying what she should have done. but we weren't there on Saturday morning at practice. You know, we don't know what they go through, and everybody on here has been in a relationship where the one you're with is acting a fool and you have no control over it, and you are too attached to the relationship to leave it. So you're like, I'm gonna deal with this shit. Oh, he hit me. Oh shit. Oh, she out there tripping. I'm gonna deal with this and I'm gonna keep going. So I think sometimes we have to look at that. And then what if we could just make this an issue about her? Let's just say we ever did, and not a race, a black or white thing, because there was a white transgender woman with less clothes on, and I haven't heard shit about that. I haven't heard one peep about that. And I'm just wondering, are black people, are we maybe being too sensitive? Should we just push this shit?
But I mean, but to get beyond, okay, to just make it about Ciara, you can get past that 3 weeks and forget about it. But it's this imaging that they keep from the Cardi B. It's like less and less and less clothing on women, and then we're crying about being exploited. It's like, but I have ownership of my body and I'm in control of this, but then why are you putting on less clothes? I mean, it's like, what are we pushing off on our children? What are we pushing off on our daughters? You want to be respected, but at the same time, you're running around half naked. And
I don't mind less clothes.
Every time you keep trying to up the next person, the next person, the next person. It's like the emperor, I guess, don't need no clothes nowadays.
Is this ever going to change, though? Is this ever? Let's say
she's old fashioned.
Let's say we do this. Is this ever going to change? It ain't going to change. I mean, like, Gabrielle Union sat up on that stage and ripped in my opinion, man, woman, white, black, and ripped the planet to shreds. Like, I haven't heard the whole speech. I just heard some of it, and I'm just like, damn, she is I mean, it's a wrap. So, in my opinion, the fabric is already torn.
Yeah, but see, that's why we can't give these idiots any kind of, credibility, because they're ripping our communities apart, and our communities don't look nothing like what the garbage they're spewing out. And so the real people have to step up and speak up, because I'm not saying that these entities don't exist, but they're not ruling us. This is not the majority of us. This is not our thought processes.
Yes, it is definitely the majority of us. You're pretty old fashioned. I'm gonna say to you what listen, hold on, Demetra. I'm gonna tell her just like I told you. We are dinosaurs. We're old. You're old. I'm old. You old too. We old. And we are has-beens. We're not never was, but we're has-beens. Sure. So with that being said, Miss BJ, you haven't been out to a listen, I live in Vegas now.
Well, see,
you haven't been out to a club
because that's not the norm, and this is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying I don't see some of it, but this is not the norm.
Listen, if you live in the
okay, but let me
go ahead, Misty.
Thank you. Brother Maxwell, I'm gonna let you speak, and then we got Buzzer Cam on here. So yeah, go ahead and speak your mind, brother.
Okay. Yeah, I got to get ready to go. But before I drop down, does anybody remember Tony Braxton? In the 90s?
Yeah,
beautiful.
Christian family. Father is a preacher. Mother is an anointed person that made singers. Tony Braxton never wore clothes to any event. She never wore clothes to any event. Her dress was smaller than J-Lo's, the dress by Versace. So I'm like, and she was a Christian, at least she claimed Christian. This is a celebrity style. That's Hollywood, as we call it, Hollyweird. So yeah, who told Ciara to come there? Her handlers. Because they know nobody was going to watch the Oscars. They needed something. They needed some spice. So that's what she's there for. That's her job.
But like, I got a quick question. Did anybody watch the Oscars? Because I haven't watched it.
Yeah, I didn't even know about this situation until I seen Miss K's, until I seen her live coming up.
Yeah,
I don't watch the Oscars, Grammys, Emmys, none of that.
I don't think any of us even watched the Oscars It's just the fact that we have, and it's gonna sound bad, another black woman yet degrading other black women, in turn our community. You know what I mean? If women want to be the backbone, this is looking like a jellyfish spine right now. It's looking real shaky, Tunes. Real shaky.
All right. Well, Brother Cam, what's going on with you? Bye-bye, Brother Maxwell. Thank you so much for coming up.
Yes, ma'am.
Take care.
Brother Cam, what's on your mind?
I'm fine. Hey, what up, everyone? How you doing?
We're doing well. Can you speak up just a little bit?
What?
Hello?
I'm speaking as loud as I can.
Okay, now we can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Loud and clear, my brother. Go ahead.
You there?
Oh, sorry. I'm watching this on Facebook and on YouTube at the same time.
Oh, yeah, you got a lot going
Come on, man. Get with the program, bro. Stop playing. Too much dead air time.
If you could, Black America, be nice. And yeah, if you could just turn those down, and that way you don't hear, because I imagine it's kind of hard to hear three sources.
I'm trying.
Yeah, go ahead, turn them down. We'll swing back
stay
around.
up there. I'm gonna put you on mute, and when you get ready, just let I'll come back to you, okay?
Yeah. What's up, Donovan? You've been quiet up there.
No. Donovan hasn't been quiet. I've been in the chat getting it done out there. We don't just talk up here. We got to, interact with the people in the chat. So yes,
hey, man, I know this is gonna come to as a surprise, but this used to be Wealth Wednesdays. So if y'all want to drop off, this is the time to do it. We're gonna actually talk some sense.
Yeah, somebody needs to, because this world is crazy.
Man, let me tell you, Black people, all people, here is, you know what is the best thing? Money is power. Because right now, the world, man, if you haven't been paying attention over the last week, some people went to the bank, couldn't get to their money. Bitcoin went from 19,000 to 25,000, which is insane for 2 or 3 days. And some of these banks lost 70, 80%. I mean, you talking about buying opportunities.
And you heard that Tennessee is saying they're going back to the gold and silver standard.
They're going to try, but they got to find gold and silver first. You guys, it's about to get dirty in here. If you don't own stuff right now, you are going to feel it. I am telling you. Listen, I know, like right now we have running water, unless you're in Flint, that's not Brown, or Jackson, or you name it.
Or Ohio.
There's a lot of things people enjoy, but some of that stuff is getting ready to end. Right now, we are facing a water crisis, a food crisis. We just got over the chip shortage. There's a lot of stuff going on right now that is about to hit this country, and most people aren't aware of. Like some of you guys that don't own stuff, and when I say own stuff, I just mean own something that you can liquidate if shit gets tough. You know what I'm saying? Right now, and we talk about this, like the real estate market is going insane right now. It is crashing. You can buy a house for $100,000 with $3,000. Some of y'all could put money on a credit card and buy a piece of property. Why you haven't done it blows me away. Like, here's the cool shit. If you own a piece of property, like if you're paying rent and something come up, the landlord say, hey, you got 30 days to be out. What you gonna do? If you own a piece of land, you got an RV parked on it, you ain't moving. It take a government intervention to get you off your property. Eminent domain, it take weeks and they got to cut you a check. So I think when Black people start doing that and stop hemming and hawing and, I don't know, I got to praise Jesus. Jesus had all kind of shit, talents, donkeys, and he had a whole crew. Like that's the stuff we forget. So we need to be focusing on this shit. Like when SBC, when they shut the doors on Friday, I remember going, I wonder how many Black people are paying attention to this. Like these banks are at 80% off their stock price. Credit Suisse is at $2 a share right now. Credit Suisse, you're talking about one of the biggest banks in the world. Swiss Bank is at $2 a share. And I have nobody talking about that shit. it blows me away.
Let me let Buzzer Cam. You can't. Are you there?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can
Yeah,
hear you now. What's on
go
your
ahead,
mind,
brother.
brother?
Okay, okay. I can hear you guys, but I can't hear myself for no reason.
We can hear you.
Go ahead, man. We can hear you. What's up?
How you doing? First I can share my opinion about the threats that there were with her husband and stuff. Hey, I pretty much don't care about it as long as they have they so-called Christian views or something like that. That's questionable and all that. That's the last focus we still focus on that. If you want to wear that, fine, but it's not my business. Although the opposite is bad in a way. So yeah, that's a little bit different. And speaking of the Oscars, yeah, I haven't watched any award shows in years. I stopped watching it because I'm tired of the same old narrative they've been doing that for years, especially the Oscars. And remember this Oscar so white and stuff like that, and all how upward and something like that. I guess I was one of them at that point, but I had to realize and go out and like this war story is nothing to me anymore. And the last time I checked it out when just 2019, and the only reason I watched it because Black Panther and watched something like that. So yeah. And to your point about the bank, I heard about what happened to these rubber banks is going on. What happened to the banks? I heard piece about that. I heard about it, but so can you tell me what's going on with those?
I mean, just
Absolutely.
real briefly. I mean, just it's one. We had 3 banks fail this weekend, right? And there's a bunch of banks on the precipice of failure too. So basically, what happens is they invested in some bonds, and when you buy bonds, bond prices move in opposite direction of yield. So if you got $100 bond and the interest rate's 10%, if the interest rate goes to 15%, then the bond drops down to $50, and that's what happened. Their assets dropped, and they used people's money from the bank to buy these bonds. So the bond prices started to drop, and the people that had money in the bank understood that. And so they started pulling money out of the bank. So not only are they losing money, the prices are dropping. And so the bank collapses. That's how it worked. And it was quick. The crazy part is the people, they were on the way to a skiing trip. And a lot of the people were pulling money that worked at the bank. The people in the circle were pulling money out of the bank, selling shares on the way to a ski trip. So they were already cashing out. But this is going to happen over and over and over. And thank God that most people, minorities, they invest with the bigger banks. Silicon Valley is an investment bank, technology bank, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of Black, Hispanic, whatever colored money in these banks, and there should be.
Oh,
So
that's Black in general.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's Black bank in general.
Yeah, no, this is a technology bank, but we can.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, so I was just gonna oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, those banks are following those cryptocurrency situations because that's the main source of sometimes these banks go to those crypto stuff like and the bank they might only I'm assuming go to stock or something. You say digital, so I'm assuming crypto or something.
So he's saying that he's assuming you're talking about crypto as far as the technology and all that.
No, I'm just saying they're a technology bank. They invest in companies, technology companies. Like they invested in Roblox, Roku. It's Silicon Valley.
Yeah, startups. Yeah,
they're a winery bank here in Northern California. This bank and they fund the wineries. So you get ready to see a lot of collapse in the wineries, a lot of consolidation with some of the bigger wineries are buying some of the smaller wineries because to run a winery, it's a lot of logistics. And if they can't get to loans and funding, then they need to be bought up. And so the point I'm making, there's a lot of this stuff going on right now. I watched one bank lose 70% of its value in one day. And I thought, damn, that's a buying opportunity. The next day it was up 30. Now it's down 25 today. But there's money to be made, and it's got nothing to do with color, race, or any of that. Right now you can buy a house in Houston, Texas for $120,000. Like right now, some of you guys get dig in your pocket and make a down payment. Even if it's the shittiest deal, the fact that you own something gives you power. And that's what Black people had back in the days, is we own land, but now our grandmas are dying, and so we're giving it off. It's gentrifying, and that's the term gentrification we use, which is another term for Black people aren't educated enough about their property, and we're going to blame the shit on white people. They're coming in and buying the shit that we're actually selling. You know, at what point we have to be responsible? Like I had lunch with my friend today. She's Filipino. She goes, Otto, what's up with the Black struggle? And she was dead serious. She goes, you work hard. You work 20 hours days. You have properties. You have money. You have stocks. Why can't all Black people do that? And so I was like, you know what? Because most of us, a lot of us are looking for an excuse. There's nothing stopping every Black person from waking up at 5 a.m. and going to bed at 10, just like Elon Musk does. But a lot of people would get distracted. And so that is the issue. I guarantee you, there is a Cuban on a boat swimming his ass, paddling on the side, about to come over here and open up a Cuban restaurant that Black people will eat at while they sit there and bitch why we don't have shit. When we get to that point, I think the Ciara shit and some of this stuff will be a 30-minute conversation. The Oscars was on Sunday. It is Wednesday, and this is a hot topic.
Well, and let me just kind of make it a little bit more layman. Walter, he is a financial guru, and sometimes, you know, he I'm not saying he spoke over y'all head, he spoke over mine a little bit. And so basically, what happened was there was a run on SVB Bank, Silicon Valley Bank, and that, historically speaking, if I can try to just make this as simple as possible, the feds are being accused of not raising the interest rates enough over the years since like the last stock market crash, I think it's 2008, 2009. And so people were buying things, or I guess people plainly put, they were buying money and using credit cards and things like that because the interest rates were so low. As you guys know, within the last year or so, the feds raised the interest rates. And so what happens is SVB Bank, they had a lot of money. I think they said they had almost like $200 billion. And so with that money, some of it, they went off and bought investments like bonds and things like that. Well, when the interest rate went up, the money went down. And so the word got out to people, you know, bank depositors rather, and investors that, hey, the money ain't really there. And they did what they call a run on the bank, where they go and run to the bank like, give me my money. Well, of course, did they have all the money to give the investors or the depositors? And the answer is no. So, of course, that caused a lot of panic. And the FDIC, or the feds rather, they have to step in now. As it is, the FDIC will insure $250,000 to people who deposit money. The problem is there were people and businesses that had more than the $250,000. So originally they weren't supposed to be able to get any more than that. But Janet Yellen says, okay, we are going to make sure those investors get their money. However, we are not going to bail out SVB. So basically, there was no money. Investors and depositors heard about it. They ran to go get their money out, and the bank was like, we ain't got it. So it caused a panic. Then it caused a schism in other banks because people started to get afraid that it was going to spread to their bank. Was the Signature Bank also failed on Sunday as well?
Yeah.
There was 3 banks, and that's actually, it's a little more intricate than that. Every dollar in, so when you put money in you put $1 in the bank, they loan out $7, $8, $9. It's not okay, we're talking $42 billion. We gave Ukraine $100 billion. You know what I'm saying? That's not the issue. That's not the problem. The $42 billion isn't the problem. Even all those people over 250,000, they would have got 95 cents on the dollar of their money. It was never an issue of them not getting their money. That's not how bank collapses work. When a bank collapses, the depositors get their money. The problem is when you pull $1 out of a bank, that means we have $7 or $8 or whatever it is dollars out in loans, and those loans aren't funded anymore. They're not backed by anything. The Federal Reserve has $125 billion in sitting there for bank failures. There is almost $10 trillion in bank deposits. They don't have 2% of the money sitting there to protect the banks. If all the banks of 10 trillion disappeared, they only have 125 billion. The money's not there to protect the banks.
But Walter, the other problem is, for decades they have not raised the interest rate for this same fear. So they kept suppressing that interest rates, bringing it down to zero. So this is a quiet storm that's been brewing for a long time, trying to prevent inflation. And now it's just sort of hitting the wall, because now everything has been inflated: gas, food, everything. And so this quiet storm is just sort of happening all at the same time.
Well, that's true. And the problem is, when interest rates are low, people with less money, less fortunate, they were asleep at the wheel. Interest rates were, during COVID, they dropped the interest rates to zero. They gave all of us money. SBA, Donald Trump said, I don't care if you have a bank account, or if you have, matter of fact, if you want an SBA loan, we'll put it in your hand. You don't even need a bank. We'll send you a check. And
now they putting them in jail for it.
Well, they
and
putting
that's
people
not
in jail.
a
Well, there's some people that did some crooked shit, regardless of what it was. It had nothing to do with SBA or Trump. There's just people that did the wrong shit, and that has nothing to do with the program. The point is, there was money everywhere. Like, I bought my house in Houston during the pandemic, and my property in the desert during the pandemic, and they were giving money away, loans, interest. They were like, oh, you want to hear? Interest rates were low, and poor people, they did nothing. So now the interest rates have to come back up, and now poor people feel it. So you don't participate when the interest rates are 0%. Then when they get back to 6, which is where they should be, historically interest rates aren't 2, they're 5, 6. In the 1980s, interest rates were 15, 16%.
Yep.
I refinanced a client out of a 20% mortgage. And he didn't say, he was like, oh, 20%, that was the normal. But if you bought a house, it meant you were responsible. I'm not talking about redlining and none of that crooked stuff. I'm just saying, like, in the 80s, when Black people could actually buy a house, buying a house was for the responsible people that were ready to move on. Their interest rates became 3% to buy a house. You tell me rates were 3, 4%, and you didn't buy a house? You don't own a piece of real estate? That's 100% your fault. That has nothing to do with the white man, the Jew. That is 100% you, because everybody on this podcast probably got a stimulus check or something like that, and you chose not to do anything with it. Now,
can I say something?
Go for it.
All right. So the main problem with that, Walter, is because I know you be around Big Bank Hank and all of those big time shiny people. but I do a lot of work in the streets with people that are less fortunate, and even in the pandemic, with like saying with the apartments and stuff that we own and people not paying their rent and things like that, even though they were getting these stimulus checks and or whatever they were getting, and they were screwing them off. Okay. Guaranteed. A lot of people were doing that. I don't agree with that. It was stupid. It's bad money management, and it shows a lack of knowledge of it. But when you've never been taught, like me personally, I think the only thing they ever taught me in school was to balance a bank book, something like that. Nothing was ever taught. And I think that's because we're a little bit older, we're in our 50s. So they didn't teach nothing about this credit and things of that nature. So people never looked at interest rates. That's a realm and that's a field that you veered off into. Not many Black people get to even veer off into that field because they don't.
I disagree with that, my brother. I disagree with that. 100%.
Can I speak on this?
Yeah, no, go for it. And then I'll come back and disagree.
Okay, because it's Wealth Wednesday. So let me put some people that act like we don't know nothing. Okay, first of all, I come from a good family, but I end up homeless because I come from an abused life. But I'm going to speak of the last 2 years. I also do government contracts. Now, before the pandemic, I was in the government contracts. I have LLCs, corporations, and SAM.gov. Let's start right there. We have a lot of people that when the pandemic happened, now I teeter in the business of banking, real estate, and politicians. That's a powerful avenue. Now, if you don't see what I look like I tell people, I'm light, I'm not white, get it right. You know, so they let me in the room because they don't know what I am. And in this pandemic, I learned a whole lot of people that were looking at us, that were in our community, that was politicians that could have taught us procurement, could have taught us banking. But we were so busy feeding the homeless, feeding all these people, we didn't do right. And to say that we didn't grow up about money and know how to do a balance of checkbook, if you a grown ass person and you got a bill and you knew you didn't pay that bill or your stuff was going to be cut off, that's more than enough knowing that you might not have the knowledge. As busy as I am, I get 2 hours of sleep. 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm in school getting more educated. Even though I run around here and I might do a press conference 3 times a week, I'm in a training of information that I don't know. And doing government contracts, I changed which they call NAICS codes, NAICS, to medical billing, medical supplies. I might not knew what I was doing, but when the pandemic hit, I knew, I better get some emails done to me. Now, when the pandemic hit, we got a list of banks that we're allowed to transfer our money into or do government with the military and with government. Every single bank that got hit last week was on that list. So I knew that something was brewing. We weren't even allowed to do Swiss bank. We were taught, hey, if I get rich, put your money in Swiss bank. All my money came out of the Swiss bank. It's in Africa, Nigeria, some oil, some diamonds, some other cloths. That's where my money is. The reason why I say that is if we don't get up as people, for the last 2 years, I call it pandemic problems. In 2 years, I'm going to talk about Houston. Everybody and their mama now got a presidential award. Each person has done go ahead, sip your tea, sis, because I'm going to speak on this. Before the pandemic, our asses was in what you call halls. And the halls was $400. We were meeting each other. We was happy. We was meeting after church, patting each other on the back. Pandemically got these checks. And I looked up on Facebook and everybody was doing this large event, inviting everybody they knew, trying to outdo each other. And each person was spending $40,000 on an event to say thank you to their peers for one day. So if you take about 100 people in Houston that have now spent $40,000 to $100,000 on an event, we could have had buildings. We could have opened up our bank. My friends and other people, they opened up banks. It costs $25 million. We're like, oh, wow, we black people can't do that. We sure enough could. I'm buying houses at $100, $200. Why? Because I realized in the class that I had a certification that I didn't have, and I'm a realtor. I didn't have the HUD certification to buy the houses. I reached out to so many people that were my peers that claimed that nobody taught them, claimed that we can't afford to be nonprofits out here. And they simply said, oh, not right now. I got to get my hair done, my nails done. I got to go to this gala. I got to look cute in front of the politicians. And I told them straight up, in the name of Jesus, fuck y'all. And I meant that from the deep part of my body, because at the end of the day, At the end of the day, we're about to do a ribbon cutting. $1.5 million. We're about to open up a clinic. I'm not that kind of doctor. But I am opening up a clinic. Washington, D.C. has came down to Houston and said, what have you done? I said, what we have done is put CT scans up in here. We can't talk about Black health if I can't afford to go and get an x-ray, to get a mammogram, to go get a open MRI. I got it.
So
I got it. I'm zero in debt. I'm about to buy another 100 houses. So my people are quick to complain that they don't have the knowledge.
Salute
That
to
I
you,
can send them a
salute to
Zoom
you.
link and they won't show up to that meeting. They won't show up to find out as a nonprofit, why didn't you do a budget? The number one question on a grant is, where's your annual budget? And we steady sitting here going, this Saturday, we're going to get together because we women empowerment. Y'all steady paying for warehouses and to temporarily be in there when you could have owned the building in the warehouse. You're steady saying that we don't have trucks when you could have took the GSA class and invite yourself to that class, GSA, and got yourself a $310 LLC or corporation, but you went over there and ran over and got a DBA and posted on Facebook that this is a business. So those that didn't get that PPP loan is because your ass didn't understand what as was. Doing business as. Where was the as at? You had no business. You fell for this bullshit. I'm sorry. Let me stop cussing in the name of Jesus.
Dr.
Put
Tatum,
the oil on me. Put the oil on me.
Dr.
She's
Tatum, now you,
Okay.
hold on.
No, you're
fine.
absolutely right.
Wait a minute.
Because
Well, hold on a second. Dr. Tatum, you know you done stepped on a lot of toes now.
no, she ain't step on no toes.
No,
No,
And I'm
Hey,
glad
better
I
hurt
stepped
than
on my
me.
toes.
Better
We
hurt
will
than
wake
me.
up. We will not wake up until somebody like me show them. So when I'm posting to Facebook my wins, it's not to show off on what I've done. I'm showing people that didn't show up for themselves.
no,
When the politicians told me no, I said, let me find out where they got their money from. When the city of Houston posted, oh, we got $20 million of domestic violence, for years I kept giving my data to them. I was so privileged to work with some of these shelters. And then I realized they weren't taking none of my customers. And I look up and say, wait a minute, that grant is also for our people. So I'm stepping on some toes, but it's out of love. We gotta stop blaming people.
Wait. And I was wait, hold on,
Yeah.
hold on. Let me speak.
Yeah, she's right.
No,
We need toes.
wait. Let me. Obviously, I was being facetious because
No,
I
you
know.
are right.
She know I know what she's talking about. I know. That's what I was like.
Yeah, she know I'm real with it because our people understand you don't have to be the richest person. Let me tell you how much my mortgage is. Now, my mortgage is $210. My mortgage is $210. I can post it. No lie. Because look, there was situations every time there was a disaster relief, the government gave us an opportunity to go back in and bring our interest rate back down on the disaster loan. Go back and mediate. We had people who never did that. My ass was the first one to sign up. Hold on, we just went through Hurricane Katrina. Let me go back and refinance my house into a lower interest rate. And then I did a modification. Well, we done had about 10 hurricanes and everything. I went in and did that and made it permanently. Our people are, I'm looking up and I'm at a gala. Say this is our table. And this table was 2,500. In this gala, I'm looking at all my beautiful people. We're taking pictures. Kid you not, out of 10 people at this table, I'm going to say 7 of them going to inbox me and say, do you know any resources? Because I'm about to get evicted this week.
Yep. See, yep. Because and that's what was one of our biggest problems. After the banks collapsed in 2008, everything was, falling. And it took a while before the banks started giving out loans again, and people were not. Once it started selling again, things were so dirt cheap. Interest rate was so low, and nobody was taking advantage of any of this stuff. And they were running around. I don't know, blah blah blah. I don't want to live in the city because it's blah. There was so many. They were selling stuff dirt cheap. Now we're sitting at where interest rates are high, and when you could take advantage of it, you have to grab it while it's available because that storm is going to eventually dry up.
And we must learn, guys, that it is important to have a job. It is, we even with re-entry, when people are getting out of jail and they're like, Miss Kathy, I can't find a job. I go, well, start a business. I ain't talking about the business that got you in jail. I'm talking about a legit business that, like, for example, when the White House came down here and we raised our hand, it said, we have over $20 million in EPA grants that's coming. So everybody that went around the room and started complaining that nobody will work with them, we are suffering with cancer, we're suffering with not having resources. It was only 5 of us that raised our hands that said we had LLCs and nonprofits. Well, you're not in position. I'm at a point right now, I got 88 grants to fill out in the next 3 months. Why? Because I'm in position. I have a business bank account. I have business credit. I have where I'm seen. Where our people have a problem with saying that God would just send me the money. The Lord said for us that if I have an assignment, I don't need it in writing. The Lord said this, the Lord said that. And this is what I tell my Christian people. The Lord had a Bible, right? It was in writing, right? Well, you read your business plan because that's your Bible. Get it together, sis. Get it together, brother, because I'm not going to save you if you didn't come and save yourself.
So that is, I'm going to be in Houston on Monday. So me and you need to get together because I struggle to find people that look like me and you that think like me and you. I'll tell you. And here's the other part. LLCs and all that stuff, business bank accounts, you need that. But there are people I know, I bought my property, 2 of my properties, they don't even have my social. The point I'm making is if you're just out there making the move, things will come to you. And I don't mean, okay, that's a lie. They don't come to you. You have to go to them. So man.
You're right.
There's so much money out there, but you have to go out and get it. Like I'm getting on a plane Sunday night at midnight, landing in Houston on Monday, and I'm going out there and I'm spending the weekend. I'm looking for properties, shit to buy, apartment buildings. If you got stuff out there that we can buy, hit me up. There's people out here, a lot of Black people that are like, I'm gonna come with you. Let's go get this money. People in Houston, they sleep. Down south, Bama, Florida, they don't want this money. We got to come.
And I just want anybody that's watching also, a lot of these databases are free. We have a lot of people that are like, there's people that I taught how to do nonprofit work. And I see their flyer on Facebook. They charge $1,500 to $3,500. And they're in my inbox talking about, hey, Miss Kathy, you just posted that you bought this. Can you show me? No, I can't because you on there saying you the expert. So we have people that are doing some sheep stuff, pipering some people. But what I tell people is, when I see say I'm in a class and I'm talking about GuideStar, I'm hitting every tab on that page. And there's so many .govs out there that even when, like a realtor, I had 36,000 homes working for somebody else portfolio where I done construction and I built apartment complexes. But I was a worker bee. I still worked for somebody. What I found out 2 weeks ago blew my mind by mistake. I'm sitting in the class of the White House and they're going, the land bank is not doing what they're supposed to. People are not coming to them and getting these properties. So when they send me the link, it says you must have this certification of HUD. I go, well, I've been with HUD for a long time. I'm sure I got it. Once I hit that button and they showed me all these classes I needed to do, my responsibility for myself is to finish these classes, because then I'm on the list to buy this other land that I keep hearing about, but then I can do it. But I'm also got these certificates. I'm up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I've been putting screenshots going while y'all sleep. I'm tired, but I got to make sure I get in position. And in position isn't putting one Black person in the community saying, Kathy, you go do it. Come back and tell us. I can't do that, because when I'm in these things, one of the things on the contract says, who have you collaborated with? I need people that I can collaborate with. And it sure can't be people that think that I'm going to do all the work for them at the end. If I'm up, you up. We can relax later on. But we can take this with us. But at the end of the day, we are dying of high blood pressure. I'm good. It ain't nothing like saying I'm about to go buy stuff. Now I'm cheap. I love an old car. But at the end of the day, to be able to see a dashboard of money that I can get, and then I see somebody on Facebook struggling with their business and struggling with their nonprofit, and I'm going, here goes the grant, and find out 2 weeks later that expired. Oh, girl, I didn't have time, girl.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God, I didn't have time. I'm so sorry. You know what? The Lord told me, I prayed about it, and the Lord told me it's not right now. Well, good for you. More money for me.
And you know what? I want to say to him, Brother Don, I'm going to let you in right after this. I love what you keep saying. You got to get in position. There's a lot of people who are simply not in position to receive or be able to make any moves at all. And, you know, I was sipping my teas because I see a lot of that on Facebook. And I'm like, wow, these people got a lot of nonprofits. And I'm like, well, what are they really doing? But like you said, there's a lot of money that's being allocated to different things. But how much of that money could have been used to actually do something for the community? I'm not saying that homeless people don't need soaps and, you know, that kind of stuff. But what about building, like you say, infrastructures that actually help them on a larger scale? But see, we don't think like that. And I hate to say this, and I'm just going to say allegedly, a lot of those nonprofits out there, it's a money grab. It's a money grab. And I will say this, I see a lot of people with nonprofits, not just on social media, but other places too. And I see them in a lot of designer things here and there. But I will say you're one of the few people, there's others, but one of the few people I don't see doing that. I don't ever see you doing that.
That's because I know where I come from. I can't on the I'm on my phone. I wish I could show you WhatsApp app. So people are not happy that a Black woman came into the medical space. And I'm not talking about what they do at hospitals. I'm talking about when y'all was getting y'all vaccines, it was my job to make sure that people didn't price gouge. And I got paid for that because it was all on TV. I don't have the will. I know what it's like to go broke. So I don't want to move that kind of way to do all this expensive stuff. And then I don't have nothing to show for it. I got into the nonprofit world because when I was in these rooms of corporation, I realized they had both. They were in two different tax brackets. When I realized that the Texans weren't giving me money, but the Texans Foundation was. The Astros wasn't giving me money, the Astros Foundation was. And I'm sitting there going, why did they do that? They did that because they're going to, for their for-profit, get a discount on giving, even though it's technically their nonprofit of a public entity, they got a discount. We might want to talk about Trump, but guess what Trump did? Trump gave that money to his kids that all had nonprofits. He came out as paying $700 because he knew the loophole of it was, I'm going to put my money into a nonprofit, and that nonprofit, the government's not going to take it back from those companies. Now, he might be in trouble of some things that he did, but the nonprofit, I can speak about Houston and nobody can challenge me, and I don't have to use the word allege because I've been in those rooms where we have politicians that now got 501c3s. So while you're sitting up there on counseling, talk about right now, we can have a youth program about financial literacy. They're going to be like, ooh, tell us about your plan. They turn around and got a 501c3 and then do a press conference, and that's their company. You just don't know it. Same thing with real estate. There are politicians buying real estate on land that we have deemed not usable, not able to live there, but the politician has their cousin and their sister got a whole corporation over there buying land at auctions. It's us that won't wake up and say, you know what? I don't need a brand new Maserati. What I need is a building so we all can go in there and eat. We all can go in there and do these classes. We all know a building in our town that was rehabbed by the city or somebody else. And now each week we're going to meet there and we're giving out those vendor table lists. We can do the same if we own the building.
So what do
Oh,
we
I just
do?
want to say thank
I'll
you
go
for
for it.
having me on. You guys been great. Keep fighting the fight, and we're gonna keep pushing forward. We're not gonna let any of this stuff deter us from getting where we need to get. You guys have a great one. Bye.
You too, Sister BJ. All right,
Yes, sir.
let me go ahead. I was gonna let Brother Don jump in, but Walter, go ahead and then I'll let Brother Don jump in.
No, I'll be brief because I want to hear from Brother Don. This is great. This is great motivation, but like we've done this before as a black people. We can jump around many black channels, many Facebook lives, and see black people doing this shit. At what point do we actually pull the trigger? You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, this shit gets old. It's cool to sit on here and be like, yeah, we shall overcome, swing low. But at what point did we pull the trigger? I mean, like, if every black person would just say, you know what, I'm going to take the risk. Just pull the trigger. You're going to fall on your face. You're
I
going
was
to
gonna
fail.
say, be careful on that saying to pull the,
Well, I'm saying,
because I'm saying the algorithm sometimes pick that kind of stuff
okay,
up.
so get on boat, make a move. Like, seriously, you guys, this is, and Doctor, you mentioned like government grants and stuff, and there's a lot of stuff out there, like some of these seizure foreclosure websites. There's a Land Watch, there's homes.com, there's all kinds of stuff. I was at 2 a.m. on homes.com and I found an apartment building. This lady's like, yeah, we'll carry the mortgage for you. We'll give you 5% mortgage. You come up with the 100 grand. We want 400 grand. You can have it. You can take it over. You come up with 100 grand. I was like, cool, I got it. What do we do next? She goes, when you come out here on Houston, let's come see the property. D, I told you about it, the 18-unit blue house. You know what I'm saying? That was sitting on a website that's open. It'll say, hey, is he a nigga? Is he black or brown? No, it's right there. And
it's in a prime area too. I went by there. I was like, oh, this area right here, already, because they already gentrifying that area, but it's a matter of time before somebody else gets it.
And it's so much. I have friends that are building apartment complexes or Airbnb, 10 units, 12 units. And like I said, I come from that world of apartments and everything. And then I also have the connections of, certain banks that I have that closes on commercial properties. It's just that that's why people come from out of town and buy this stuff, because we're not doing the work. Of course, I have a whole list of apartment complexes that I do rehabs. My people do rehabs. Like even when an owner comes and go, Miss Kathy, I want to buy this property. Do you have the construction people and can you oversee it? I sure can. And I trust them because I've been doing this for 24 years. So I know how much it costs to do a ceiling and do a budget for to rehab something. It doesn't take that much. But at the end of the day, when do we stop just being real estate agents also and actually invest?
I'm going to come see you. I'm there on Monday. And my sister will tell you when I say this to somebody, I'll come see you and we can get down. I'm there because I've offered this to me and my sister, the brother in the middle up top. We've all had this conversation. I'm saying, I'll bring the money. I'll come and I'll be ready because my sister have watched me buy 2 or 3 properties there in Texas. So, and it's just a matter of pulling the trigger. So I'll come. If you got the properties and the links, I'll come up there with the resources. And if I don't have it, I will find it, because the one thing about investments is if you have a good investment, people will come up with the money. There's money sitting everywhere. My homegirl just texted me. It's like, Walter, I got $50,000 sitting in my under my bed. Now there was some other invites that came with that, so I had to cancel it, but
Sister K, send me his information. I'll start sending the links of some of the properties and also the links of even the commercial bankers that I have that closes on those things too. So at the end of the day, guys, I'm here in Houston. Let me know and then text me too. I'll text you my cell phone number also.
Yeah, send it to me. I'll come see you. I'm dead serious. Because one cool thing and here's the thing about real estate, which I know black people, it was taken from us. There's a lot that happened to us. We have the ability to go back and get that. The other thing I wanted to talk about, because we wanted to talk about the wealth gap, is if you are healthy enough and you do not have life insurance for your next generation, or you get your generation above you to get life insurance. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you have parents, aunts, and uncles that are still alive and they're in decent health. If they don't want to pay for life insurance, you pay for it. Here's what I learned I was in this Jewish group and we were just talking, and The guy goes, Walter, you know what the Jews do? We get life insurance on our what's the word? On our seniors, our elders, and when they die, we get the check. So if I take 50,000 and buy $300,000 worth of life insurance, and you can do this, you can pay the life insurance up in advance. I put in 50, they die, I get 300. Our community is safe. You know how you close the wealth gap? Black people buy life insurance on you and your elders. So when you die, they die. The money hits and you have a business plan. My kids know I die. They got 32 pages. Do this, buy real estate, stocks, bonds. Go out and get some buildings and buy something that's going to pay you for the rest of your life. Period. The wealth gap is closed. But black people, we need to do that. And the white man has nothing to do about it. And here's what I want, and I'll kind of wrap with this. The whole I hear black people killing Donald Trump. One of my boys who's black said, Walter, Donald Trump gave black people SBA loans, PP loans with no bank account, no LLCs, just cut the money. And you know who's coming to get it? Joe Biden is coming back to claw that money back. And black people still standing behind his old ass. He can't even get off Air Force One without holding on to the rail. So that's the stuff we need to think about. We need to say, okay, can I buy a property? You know, and one lady was on here, and I didn't remember her name. She said she had an 800 FICO score, and the house was 230, and it's $2,100 a month. Those two numbers don't add up. So get with me, because 230 and 2,100 a month. I mean, it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're putting down 3% and 5%, it might get close to that. But even $2,000 a month to own something and be in control, even owning something, even if your deal is shitty, what it does to you mentally is it makes you stronger. Even the shittiest real estate deal that you own makes you mentally stronger. And that's what we are missing. It's saying we own some shit and we're going to be able to hold on to this and then learn from our mistakes. So if you're in a position to own something and you don't, you have no reason to complain about the white man, the Jew, Lear Corn, none of that stuff. They have nothing to do with it. It is you.
Before we leave, let's let Brother Don up in here. I see Donovan up there. He's getting restless like, I'm trying to go get my big piece of chicken. All right, Brother Don, what's going on?
No way. Shouldn't be next up. No way, Donovan. Just want to say good evening to the panel and to the chat. Much knowledge was kicked after we came swinging around from the social distractions. I'll say this because I see all of the topics, they intertwine on a higher level. I'll say this about Ciara, and I'll say this about all of those entertainers out there, whether they're in music or film or athletics. Those who name the name of Jesus Christ, you're absolutely right. You can keep Caesar Borgias because that's not who I'm even vaguely associated with. And the reason I know that you're walking the way you're walking is because you don't practice any of the things that are supposed to be practiced. A woman is supposed to be modest in dress. See, what you're seeing right now, I'm going to go high level and just come down real quick. What you're seeing right now is you're seeing the wrap up because of the debauchery in this world. You're seeing everything fall apart. I mean, yeah, you guys are real focused and you absolutely have to have a plan. But if you buy the nicest house in a crappy neighborhood, you still live in a crappy ass neighborhood. The neighborhood I'm looking at right now has bank collapses. It has natural disasters going on, which I don't think are so natural. I don't think any of this is natural. This is planned. You got Backdoor Joe that's bankrupting this country. We ain't got it like that. Like I said, the nicest house in a crappy neighborhood is still in a crappy neighborhood. So a plan is imperative. Me and my folks, we have plans. The thing about it is, the United States is done. I'm not investing any more time or energy here. My real estate, well, our real estate, because we believe in black economics and coming together and getting things done. That's what we're doing, and we're going to do it at a much higher level because this dollar. I don't know if you've been watching the value of the dollar. So, yes, you have to have a plan, and you've got to understand. And the other thing is this: in terms of generating capital, um, I'm talking on your own, like opening a business. You've got to know what you want to do, research it, or have worked in that industry so you can observe how it moves, all segments of that business so that you can be successful because it's already going to be hard enough if you can't pass the brown paper bag test. So that's a reality. That's a reality. And on a higher level, we on a higher level, there was a group of people that were separated from the rest of the nations of the world. That group of people didn't recognize their privilege and wanted to be like the rest of the nations of the world. So they violated what was put in front of them for them to do to maintain that leadership role. And because of that, they missed an opportunity when they had a chance to redeem themselves. And so those people went to sleep as it was stated they were going to. And now those people are waking up. And this is why you're seeing what's going on in the world, not just in the United States, but globally, particularly on the continent.
Mm-hmm. And I hear what you're saying really from a biblical standpoint. And I totally respect that, Brother Don. And I think that Dr. Tatum, Walter, and everybody's pretty much saying the same thing. Dr. Tatum touched upon something about a half an hour ago, where she says a lot of people say, I can't get a job. Well, we're at a time where you're going to have to make your own job. And it don't even have to be as hard as, well, let me go try to, do something hard. My mom used to always say, find out what you're good at and get people to pay you to do it. And there's people out there collecting cans, they're making plates, they're just keeping it simple. But what they're not doing is they're not making excuses, or they're not trying to overcomplicate the system of making money, right? We're seeing now every day businesses are closing, businesses are laying off people, there's a whole lot of things. And you have people saying, I don't know what I'm going to do. Now, of course, I'm preaching to the choir. You guys know more about economics than I do. During the Great Depression is where they saw the most millionaires created. We're getting back to that. Those people, they didn't have a choice. They didn't have all the systems, the New Deals and all that was not in place. So those people had to figure it out. As Dr. Carter G. Woodson said, it's us as Black people, we going off and trying to overcomplicate the money-making process. He's like, we still need people to do laundry, wash cars, to fix cars. Dr. Tatum, you're the only Black person that I know or have ever talked to that says, I have a construction crew. A Black woman with a construction crew. Y'all know how many people that, and I'm speaking for Walter. He renovated his whole Airbnb property, and it was hard to get Black people to find a Black construction crew. He talked to one guy and he couldn't make it happen. So he had to hire other people. And that's another thing. Like, whenever we drive around, wherever we are, we see construction crews, and they rarely, I saw one time, and I think they probably worked for the city, it was all Black. I was like, oh my God. But we don't see Black construction crews. That is, like she said, getting in position. If you know how to nail a nail in a piece of wood, they're taking a step further, right? Donovan, my boy, he built his whole house by himself from the ground up by himself. He learned how to do those things. He didn't wake up knowing how to do that. When I tell you, there's times I went over to this man's house, the kitchen was gone. I'm like, what happened to the kitchen? Oh, I tore it apart. Then I go back, then it's building up slowly. It's back. I mean, the whole house, the backyard, everything you can think of. So the point that I'm making is, a lot of times, and Don, I'm not saying this about you at all, so don't mistake that. A lot of times we as people, we do make a lot of excuses as to why we can't do stuff. I said before, it'll be a cold day in hell before I work for another corporation, especially another white woman, because y'all, I've told you my stories about that. But my dad always says, and he's Muslim. Muslims say God bless the child as God his own. So if you are waiting on somebody to feed you, that person can also starve you. What do you got like? And I know y'all heard this. My mom used to always say, you got to have multiple streams of income. This is a stream dry up. What's she gonna do? She always used to say, only a poor rat has but one hole. They close up one hole, then when you got another hole to go into to get the resources, most people do not. So it's like we all have been given God-given talents. Dr. Tatum has been given more than most because getting 2 hours of sleep, God bless you. But it's not even about having talents. It's about having the will. It's about having the drive. It's about how bad do you want it? See, a lot of us say we want it, but do you really? You can tell how bad somebody wants something by the efforts that they put in. It's just a fact. So you can't say, like, a lot of times we hear people say, oh, I'm hungry. There's rarely anybody in the United States, unless you're homeless, that's been hungry. Most of us don't know real hunger. And unfortunately, that's the problem. We only think we're hungry. And so we kind of do minimal things to kind of satiate ourselves. I'm not even really talking about food. I'm talking about a whole lot of stuff. But think of the things that we want versus the things that we need. A lot of people in their house, they got cable. Now, I know a lot of people paying almost $300 for cable. But then you say, oh, my mama died or somebody died. We don't have no life insurance. We don't know how to bury. But you figured out how to pay that cable bill, though. You figured that out, but you couldn't figure out how to put your mama or give her a decent home going. So it's about talent versus will and how bad do you want it?
That's dumb as hell. If you got cable and you paying $300 a month for cable, slap you, your mama, and all your dead ancestors. You dumb ass.
Absolutely.
Seriously, like,
You
come
just
on,
paying
you
a
guys.
life insurance policy.
My God, like, come on, like we. And here's something I want to address a couple comments in here, and I'm just gonna get to it because this is the shit I'll say about you when we are not on this podcast. If I'm sitting here talking to my boys that really understand finances.
Be careful, brother.
No. I ain't gonna go there. Stop telling people to dumb it down for you. Don't keep it simple. Being successful, getting wealthy, protecting your family is not simple. It is some of you guys, and I know black people especially, we go to school. I went to Howard. I went to this school, Spelman. You'll spend 4 years learning something that you can't even use and go out and start a side hustle with. But all of a sudden, watching CNBC and Bloomberg for an hour out of 24 hours is overcomplicated. Stop telling people to keep it simple for us and dumb it down. We are not dumb people. There's nothing simple about being successful. You can take your black ass to Google and Google, how does this investment work? How does Bitcoin work? How do I buy commercial property? There's no such thing as keeping it simple. Number one, so stop with that shit. The other thing is I I'm just gonna I see somebody in the comments, and I understand this is a misconception, so I'm gonna dumb it down. I'm gonna kill it. The adjustable rate mortgage is how rich people get rich. The fixed mortgage is 7%, and I can do an adjustable at 5%, and they'll give me 7 years to keep 2% difference on $1 million. Hell yeah, you want an adjustable. But what you need to do is be disciplined to take that 2% that you aren't paying and stack it somewhere for the future. And that's what people are not doing. This whole thing about adjustable rate mortgages, the negative amortization loan did not cause 2008. That is not what happened. Oh, the adjustable rate mortgages kill black people. No, they didn't. You tell me your mortgage was $2,000 and the bank said you could pay $500 and they gave you $1,500 a month on your own and you screwed off the $1,500. That is not a white man issue. That is a you issue. So adjustable rate mortgage, I'm looking for an adjustable rate mortgage because I know what to do with the difference. Not because I went to school. My parents didn't teach me about this shit. I Googled it and I hung around a bunch of whites, Asians, blacks, Mexicans, Jews, and they taught me about finance. And I didn't use my race as a reason to be a punk bitch with my money and swing low Jesus. I'm going to wait for him instead of pulling the trigger. Until we get to this point where I'm at, you ain't going to have shit. And that's what it is. Put your Bible up. You're going to need it.
Woo! Oh well.
Well, you know what? I gotta come in with that and say, Walter, you're 100% right, because that system of Christianity has kept my people dumb and stupid. It has completed exactly what it was supposed to do. That's what it was designed to do. To keep our people dumb and stupid, to keep our people as slaves, enslaved to who they're enslaved right now, to keep them oppressed to who they're oppressed right now by. Once you get to see things clearly, you get to see the whole spectrum. Not only the things that they don't see that are right in front of their face, but you also get to see their system and design. There's this thing called the world system. That's really what we're discussing here. We are discussing the world system. Understand this. I'm in it, but I'm not of it. See, I have to be as wise as a serpent and as harmless as a dove as I move through this thing. Because you can move through this thing legit, or you can move through this thing illegit. And we saw that in PPP and what's going on now. So it's about wisdom as you move through this thing and understanding truly what is going on. Man, don't get me started. It's all about what you watch, what you listen to. Y'all, I'm sure everybody intelligent is that's on this panel. So y'all all know about predictive programming. While the walls are crumbling down around you, and I'm gonna land there.
I was talking. I'm on mute and stuff.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm gonna be in Houston next week. I know a lot of y'all in Houston. If y'all want to get together, hit my sister up. We can sit down and we can meet. We can get the party started. Seriously, we can sit down and make moves. First of all, we making moves with or without you. So that's on you. But if you want to get involved, man, there's too much power. Like my sister talked about a black construction company. And I sat here, I went to Fantasy Island, the plane, seeing a bunch of black men out building a house together. First of all, it'd be white women all over the place. They know what anyways, I'm just joking, but can you imagine that? This is why you were saying that. I was like, wow.
It was a fight. It was a fight. And like I said, I've been in property management and also residential homes for a long time. And I own I was a manager, a supervisor. So basically they call it different with residential homes. We have different people that go outside of the community, and he kept and you can look it up, as Build Tex is one of them. I have about 10 of them, but Build Tex, and I'll send you a link too. You'll look him on Facebook, and he'll tell you the story too. Him and his wife came in my office, and he's like, I'm coming in here. I'm giving you my portfolio, and I know what you're gonna say. First, he was shocked that a black woman was in that position, because a lot of people. Because I wear sneakers, y'all. If y'all ain't never been around me, I really love my old '97 Chevy. I wear old sneakers. I still got. I'm very, very frugal. Fila shoes. They walk right past me and always ask for the manager. So I was like, so when he came in, he gave me his portfolio, and I'm asking the prices, and I'm looking at this portfolio and how he's flipping his house. And I go, these are really good prices. And I'm asking about the carpet and everything. He said, well, I've been trying to go to the city and the state and also Las Vegas, but nobody has taken the time to let us see our work. And I said, well, I'd like to give you a chance to flip a house. And he was like, well, let me go ahead and do that. And so he did it. And when I tell you the quotes were like $30,000 and he came in at $5,500, I was like, okay, so let me go fight for you. He said, what do you mean? And I said, give me about 30 days. I made sure he was in the city of Houston, make sure he had these contracts. Within 6 months, he made $2.5 million. And that's the reason. And he's like, nobody has given us this kind of chance. And it's because He knew what he was talking about. He knew where the boats came off and how to get the wood. Me being where I am and doing the military, we can get wood from Nigeria. We can get wood from Kenya. We can get this stuff that people are locked up in California that says they can't get these supplies. And me having a relationship with the military, they're already going over there to get the oil. Me as a negotiator, I'm going, can I already have my material on this same boat that's already coming here and having all these things? So it just teamed up, and he's doing a wonderful job. He's building apartment complexes, buying them, flipping them. And then the same people that closed the door on him, that said that he can't be a construction worker, are now buying apartment complexes from him, even if it's the city of Houston for youth groups. And that's what I'm doing. I know I'm in the room, but I'm turning it back around. And Miss K, I don't know if you saw 2 weeks ago, we did a ribbon cutting. Miss Royal, she's a Black builder, and she the same thing. She said, I want to build, I'm waiting around for the city of Houston to approve me on some girls for a transitional house. And I said, you a Black builder, let's set this up and you build your own transitional house, and let's go back and charge the government for you to place these girls. Don't wait on the government. So I'm just wanting people to realize it's so much stuff out there, but I can't do it on my own. I need you guys to be on position to be in there. And like I said, and I'll send you, Walter, the email that I got for the single family houses to buy them for $1 at 100, the link and the certifications, if you're ever interested in it. All you guys can have it. That's what I've been going through. And like I said, I've been in this atmosphere. I had nobody, not one person told me I needed this certification. And this is not just Houston. This is the FHA all across the United States. And some of my money is going to invest in California. We're going to be building a Black resort. And the reason why I say Black resort, when we travel, sometimes we don't get the respect that we need. So an individual that I met on Clubhouse, I heard her idea and I called her right away. And she said, she got me the quote. She did everything I asked her to do, to have the domes that are solar right outside, 10 of them. And we're going to charge corporations to come out here and be like Dubai. Same thing Dubai has, we can have in California in the desert. So those are the kind of things we're not going to be out of pocket, because the government is giving mental health information. The government is giving us money to revamp land. They're giving us money to historically do buildings. I'm just one person. So I need people to know about all these atmospheres and this stuff that's out here. I try at least once a week and do a class or do what I need to do. But as you don't know, I do plan on running for mayor of city of Houston, and I will be signing in August, so I can really show my people that these people have been lying to you, been lying. They can easily show us what to do, and they just refuse to do it. So now it's up to you guys to step up and actually walk in this room with the knowledge to structure your own business the right way. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. And they want your information. They interested. So I don't want to give it out without your permission.
Yeah. And
we're gonna do another show after we all meet Monday, so they can see what we're going to structure. How about that?
Okay.
I would love to talk to you as well.
I'll be looking for you.
I am a 1099. I'm not a W-2. I'm a 1099. And I have a couple different businesses, because you got to hustle. So, long day's work. Like yesterday, I had to drive from San Francisco to LA. And tomorrow I got to drive from San Francisco to LA.
Do you have a
Last
boat?
Thursday, I had to drive from San Francisco to LA. Do I have a what?
Do you have a boat? How did you get here?
No, I got a smart car.
Man, it's been raining for
Just
like
as
2
good.
days
Oh,
straight.
I know. Yesterday was horrible. Yesterday was horrible. Man, I was in Beverly Hills, Century City.
Oh yeah.
Because that's where my client is. And then I drove over to Burbank to go to Patos, to go to Patos.
Nice.
But at any rate, yeah, man, that rain is crazy. It was just like an on 5. Oh my goodness. Yeah. But you got to do what you got to do, because when you have a business, Your number one responsibility is to your clients, so you can keep that money coming, keep that money rolling. So I like what was, I, really like the conversation that was had today. Doctor, thank you for your insight, because I'm sure a lot of people didn't know the pathway to be able to do the things that you've been able to do and accomplish in this life and in this country. And kudos to you. Kudos to you. And like I said, sister knows how to get in touch with me. And so we can, if it's good and I can get in touch with you, then we'll make that happen as well. And thank you, Sister Demetra. Love you, girl. I'll
Love
see you
you
soon.
too. All righty. And of course, as we said, after Monday, we're going to structure something, get together, and then bring it here. Yes, Dr. Tatum, we love and appreciate you for all the information. I took notes. I know Walter, he thinks he know everything, but I saw him up there praising the Lord.
I got notes. Yeah.
Donovan too. Buzzer Cam, I'm sure you was in there, listening as well. But listen,
I'm here. Yeah, I've been listening the whole time.
I know
I couldn't come up with a say or anything like that because I even my notes what I had to say myself. But I'm gonna come up here and that's to say take some questions so I can say what's going on around things, okay? And someday I'm what days are going on for myself, I will have to figure out how to do what I have to do. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Brother Cam. So I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all go. I know Dr. Tatum, you busy. Walter's probably itching to go do something. As with Dr.
Yeah, I'm in here cooking.
Oh yeah, well we don't want you to burn your food. So
all right. I'm about to go right now. Talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye. All right, y'all.
Bye.
So we'll see y'all on Sunday. Donovan and I will be here live. What we're gonna talk about, I don't know, but I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. We have ways to help the channel if you so see fit. Of course, we'll be back. So, and thank Dr. Kathy, Donovan, and Walter for being here in audience. Thank you. You guys are always a blessing. So we will see y'all later. Peace.
Ooh.